Good morning. I can't hear you.
Good morning.
Hey, there you are.
Ooh.
We are
How are
there. You are? No, there you are.
I know.
We stalled for 4 minutes on the radio.
It's okay.
Oh my goodness. Are we live?
We are not live. We are live.
Okay.
In
We're live on this end. Live and direct.
45 seconds.
Hello,
Okay,
that is.
enough time for me to grab some links.
Grab some links. Link it up. Link it up. Oh.
I was just telling Kevin this morning that there's been some changes to how Facebook live schedules are working these days. It's better in a way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Good. You haven't been banned in a long time.
I know. Don't put your mouth on me.
I know, right? You haven't been
We've been good. We've been good.
Stand by.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Well, good morning, Sandy.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you?
We are great today. How you doing?
Fantastic.
We are all good here in the CMR studio.
All right. Yesterday was a little different type of headline. What do we got today?
Yes. Well, I think
I
everybody
see.
knows by now that the all clear has been given.
Mhm.
And of course, some schools are remaining closed today. Some are open and some are closed. It was a little bit confusing for parents, and a lot of parents are kind of waiting to get that confirmation email.
Yeah.
All government schools are closed.
Yeah, CIS
And
is closed as well. We got that message.
Yes. And a few of the private schools, not all of them, but a few of them are closed. Some initially said they were opening, and then they changed their mind, and then they sent another email saying, no, we're going to close. So people are a bit confused, to say the least. But the
just
vast
making sure
majority, I think St. Ignatius is open.
Okay.
Prep decided to close. CIS is closed. Government schools are closed. UCCI is closed.
Yeah.
So yeah, just know. I'm sure they all probably sent an email.
Yeah, I just went to my
So-
emails. I was like, okay, no, my kids' schools are both open at some point today. So I'm like, let me just make sure now that you just said that.
Yeah.
But no, it seems
I'm
like
not-
they're still open.
I'm not sure why
They're
they're
still
not open. Why? What's the reason they're not open?
Well, for government, some of them are used as shelters.
Oh,
and
okay.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
be prepared
they
for that,
say
so.
that they need to go through, and although this was not even a storm that did anything, they
Mhm.
still need to go through and have them inspected and do the all clear. And I was kind of thinking about this. This is a good point, Blake, that I think there needs to be a streamlined process for the educators who do that part of things to make sure that they speed it up. Because how long does it take to inspect a school
Yeah.
when nothing happened?
Well, and that's the
You
thing.
know what I mean? So
Right.
it
They
can't
do
be
stuff
like
into
you've
those
got to
schools?
do this in-depth analysis. I mean, there was nothing literally that happened.
Well, they had
For
all
the
day
most part.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They had all day yesterday.
In the afternoon.
Well, yeah, that too. So I think that there's some that could be shaped up a little bit. Of course, the kids are happy. Like they were calling me from yesterday morning at 7:00.
Yeah. What about
Oh,
parents? that have to
Sandy,
go
do
back-
we have to go to school
Yeah.
tomorrow?
What about parents that have to go back to work today?
Exactly. Right? Because
That-
government has reopened today.
Now they got to
And
Bring your kid to school.
scramble to yeah.
people were supposed to report back to work, especially government workers.
Yeah, you can't see this, but my child is
So,
on the floor right
yeah.
next
Yeah,
to me.
it's worth a
Yeah, Aaron has her
worth a
kids in the
further
studio
discussion
today.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I know.
Yeah.
My oldest is in the studio, sitting
Yeah.
on the floor on the iPad right now.
That's right.
Because
Aw,
I have to get him to school at some point, and
You never know what's
Listen.
going on behind the scenes.
yeah.
You
the
can
the
stand up
life
and
of
say hello.
working parents.
Wanna
Yeah,
say
mine
hi?
is home
Yeah,
too.
just
So
you stand up where you are. Just pop your head
Pop
up.
your head up and just wave.
Yeah.
Get up quickly, faster,
3,
faster.
2,
Now wave.
1. There
Now
he
he's
sit
is.
down.
screaming. I saw the hand. There we go.
Yeah.
So
We get it done though. We make it work.
It's fine. He's being
the
good.
good news is that we were pretty much spared by Hurricane Ian as it passed the Cayman Islands. It came within 85 miles of us, which is still pretty close.
Mhm.
Some damage to the waterfront because of wave action.
Yeah, you know
And,
what was wild?
Yeah.
What was wild about the storm is when we were on there yesterday, when I came into the radio station about 6 o'clock, I went by the
Mhm.
waterfront and the seas were calm.
That's cool.
Really?
Maybe it was
And
just like
then-
a calmer time when
And
you were
then
driving in.
that's it. And then the storm
Yeah.
surge
Look
came
at this.
at the tail end. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The storm
Wow.
surge came at the tail end yesterday and then caused all the road and by
Mhm.
by South Sound there, the
South
dock
Sound
there.
Dock, Red Bay Dock? What do
Red
they
Bay
call
Dock,
it?
I think it's called. To that road to close. I drove by there. Yeah, it was just full of
Yeah.
water and debris and stuff.
I mean, look at that. It literally tore up the asphalt.
Wow. Yeah. See, and
Wow.
what's funny is I pulled into the Burger King parking lot at 6 o'clock yesterday morning,
Mhm.
and it was completely calm, even
Wow.
though we were in the midst of the eye passing its near
Wow.
its closest to us. That was not like that at 6 o'clock yesterday morning.
Oh my
There was-
gosh.
The seas were. I wish I had video because the seas were completely calm. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
is,
And this is what it turned to by
that
afternoon.
That is crazy how the
Mhm.
storm surge came at the end of that. That's interesting.
Yeah. That's why they tell you stay put until the all clear is given.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw you did some there was some posting about some people out there surfing.
Well, you know what? The surfer, I think people needed to keep watching the video because the surfer was only one person in that video. It was a compilation of like 2 videos together. There was another guy who was going out there doing other stuff, which we're going to be talking about here this morning. I wasn't so concerned about the surfer really, as I was concerned about people going to the shoreline, picking up stuff and like playing around. We actually have footage of a woman who almost got washed away.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, if you're a surfer, you know the sea. But not during a storm. They have crazy
I
rip
thought,
currents.
Yeah.
And rip currents can take you,
Mhm.
far away and
Fast.
very fast, and it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
we're
it's
going to talk
very
all about that this morning for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I know people that were going out
Oh, wow.
kiting yesterday. So,
Oh,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Really?
They were like, I'm gonna go pump it up. I'm like,
And did
"Mm,
they?
I don't know. I
Okay.
should probably do it
She's
well
not gonna
for
she's
myself.
not gonna snitch on her friends. this
Yeah, I'm not
morning.
gonna snitch though.
I know there are those.
They're listening. They're listening, Aaron.
I know there are those extreme sports enthusiasts. It's
Yeah.
just, those people would be fine likely, but there are some dummies out there that should just stay away from water sports during
Yeah.
a hurricane. So, all right, Sandy, thanks for the headlines. Catch your show right now on Bobo 89.1 FM. We'll see you back here tomorrow for
Sounds
the
good.
Wednesday headlines. All right.
Alrighty. So today's Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh gosh, now in my brain I was thinking it was Wednesday already this morning. I was ready to go to physio. All right, folks. Good morning and welcome.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Where the radio folks did not hear that intro. Let me just try something real quick because it seems like this system is a bit temperamental and that I keep having to give me 1 second, folks.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Yeah, we definitely got to figure out what's going on here. Ugh, this is a bit of a ticklish situation. Don't know why. Yeah. So Chuck, you can hear me, but unfortunately, when I'm playing the background music, you cannot hear me. And I was just saying, Chuck, that I don't know why that keeps happening. All my settings are like always the same. And it just keeps happening, which means anything that I play in the background, they're not going to hear today. And I got stuff to play, but you can't hear my background music, right? You didn't just hear the intro, which I just played, like literally. It's bizarre. Let me see what Chuck is saying. Try it now and let it. Okay, so folks, we're going to use you as testing dummies this morning. Stand by. Let me play that again. Let me play a commercial and see what happens.
The Cold Hard Truth is Cayman's #1 talk show since it debuted in March 2020. According to independent research, we are the most listened to talk show in 2021, and most people prefer us to any other options on island. We tackle tough issues some days, and other times have fun and lighthearted discussions. But most importantly, the Cold Hard Truth is here for you. Thank you for your support as we continue to be the voice of the people in 2022 and beyond.
Let's get the show on the road. He could hear that. I think what's happening, Chuck, we'll talk about it off air, but I think that the meter with the online system comes in so low just now that I couldn't actually see it. So I just popped it up a little bit on the board. But anyway, we'll figure it out. All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. I'm standing in an ice pack this morning because my feet, in particular my right foot, which is always worse than the left foot, is giving me a little bit of a ticklish time. I had to wake up this morning like 5 o'clock in the morning and put my TENS machine on it. So you guys might have heard me complain about this issue before. Yeah, I've been to all kind of podiatrists and this one and that one. And I even went to a podiatrist back in, I think it was April in Miami, at the University of Miami. And she pretty much told me the same thing that Dr. Anthony said in different words. All mechanical, and it seems like I just put a lot of pressure on the ball of my feet because of how I walk. And so inserts would help a lot, a particular type of insert to alleviate the pressure off of the ball of the foot. But literally, I would need an insert, a custom insert, because they're like, oh, the ones that you buy, they're not worth the $25 that you're going to pay for. A custom insert, which they come in at a pretty penny, for every single pair of shoes. And then they don't work with like open-toed shoes, which, hello, we're Caribbean people. Most of us are wearing like slippers or open-toed shoes. They wouldn't work with that. I'd have to wear sneakers all the time or closed-toed shoes. And so every once in a while it flares up. I've been doing some physio. I restarted physio for it. So I got to get back in and see Gavin to do some acupuncture. And I feel like the physio does help, but I'm going to be doing physio for the rest of my life. Like seriously. So I'm doing, I go to Gavin over at Cayman Physio for acupuncture. And I did one session with him the other day and I missed the session, unfortunately, but I got to get back in there. And I'm also doing shockwave therapy, which seems to help with a lot of things. I don't know if you guys have heard about the shockwave therapy, but you got to check it out. Only like one place on island actually has the machine, because it's a very specific machine that is needed. So I was hoping, I think in my brain, I was hoping today was Wednesday so I could go to physio. But Blake and Aaron just reminded me it's only Tuesday. But I might just call her and see if I can pop in for a session. Because today it's a little bit. But it's a combination of things. I've got to soak it like in Epsom salt. These are all the things that the doctors have basically said, you got to just do all this stuff. And once you start to feel good, do you not forget to do the things that you need to do to feel good? I mean, human beings, right? We're so predictable. So yes, soaking it in a warm Epsom salt soak is helpful. And, but literally every single day I can feel where the pain is. Losing 50 pounds, I'm sure would go a long way, because that's 50 pounds less pressure that I would actually be putting on my foot. So, we got to get cracking with our 50 by 50 plan, because we've not really started in any, degree of, I'm still trying to drink the allocated water per day, if you can believe that. And so soaking, certain types of shoes. I don't wear high heels really anymore because of the way that they pivot the foot. They put unnecessary pressure on the foot, as well as the other physiotherapy things that I do. So, what can I tell you? And icing it does help. But normally by the time I'm icing it, that means that I'm in a lot of pain. And I think I should just be icing it like kind of more often. So I've got all these ice packs in the freezer, ready to go for when I have an episode. And I have a TENS machine. So yes, I used that last night on it. But man, when you see the TENS machine isn't really giving you a lot of relief, ooh, honey child, it's a bad episode. Good morning, Miss Vernita. Good morning to Diamond Princess. We have is that pronounced Nasanga from Uganda? Thank you for joining in. We're all good. Marshall is here. Siobhan has got it locked on. Good morning to Andrea. Says it feels good to be alive and well. Well, I reckon if you weren't, you probably wouldn't know. Sujit, good morning. Diamond Princess says, I trust that all are doing well by the grace of God. Well, here we are. Honey child, we got it locked on. Cleveland. Hello, Mr. Cleveland. I'm good. How are you? Elizabeth is here from the Bay Islands. She said, prayed away the worst of it, hopefully. And we may have another system that we need to be watching here in a bit. Stephen, good morning. He says, good morning, beautiful people. Yes, everybody's giving thanks this morning. Cleveland. Miss Jennifer, Felicia, K-Man Detailing is here. Dawn is here. We're all good. We're going to talk about exactly what happened with the storm, but thankfully, nothing too serious. Just a little bit of settled water. Hero Blair says, now we got to start thinking about Florida. And yes, indeed, this storm could very well be headed for Tampa. I think Kevin might pop in later and, have a look at it. So he says he's now prepping. But, he says prep for him is complete. He's got a cousin who's going to stay with him. He picked her up from USF yesterday. Tampa's going to get the worst of it, maybe a Cat 2 or 3. Polk County is looking at a Cat 1 or 2 impact. Biggest concern for Tampa, because remember it's Tampa Bay for a reason, is that's a coastal area, remember? So they're going to get a major storm surge. And I want to say that I don't think that Tampa has had a major hurricane in about, somewhere I read, a century or something. So this is going to be a big deal for them, without a doubt, and probably not in a very good way. Good morning to Alice. So, we've got interest in Tampa. We've got tons of friends. I grew up in Tampa, so I've still got a cousin and his son, and I don't know if he's had any more kids really, but, they all still live there. Of course, that's where Aunt Lottie lived, and she's since passed away, gone on to other pastures, I suppose. So very, very concerned about Tampa. Good morning to Miss Charlene. So let's talk about some of the things that, yes, Robert, he says that it's this meta, whatever. Yes, it is exactly that region. And I have a few of those pads as well, but it seems like what I need to do, it's not exactly that, although I think those pads might help, but it's a pad that goes a little bit further down in the foot to kind of, because I have a very high arch, like I have a very good arch in my foot. So it's not that I'm flat footed, but I just put a lot of pressure because of, it's just mechanics of how I walk, actually. I think I should thank my dad for these foot problems, because many years ago, I was, here's one of my stories. Somebody's like, you're a really good storyteller. I'm like, I don't know, but here's the story. Many years ago, when I was walking by the airport, this guy says to me, this is before I think a lot of people knew like who I was. This guy says to me, excuse me, miss, I don't mean to insult you or be rude, but you wouldn't happen to be for Uric Solomon, would you? And I was just like, actually, I am. How did you know that? He's like, ooh. He's like, honey child, you can't hide. He's like, you walk just like him. And I said, really? He's like, yes. Like I could spot you a mile away. Like you walk just like your dad. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's really a compliment to tell a young lady that she walks like her dad. But anyway, I get what he's saying because I think I kind of walk like I'm flat-footed, but I'm actually not. And so I walk very, very heavy on my feet. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Just mechanics. And so, you know, it's not easy to change these mechanical things. And there are a number of reasons why it could be that way. Like, I know that the right foot is always worse. I totally know precisely why, actually. And it's because I have scoliosis. So I have a curvature in my spine. And I've known this since I was like 9 years old. When I first moved to the States, in the US, they do, you know, they'll do like assessments as a kid on different things. And one of the things that they test you for is scoliosis. And so they told my aunt, oh, she has scoliosis. She has a curvature of her spine. And it's one of the reasons why, I don't know if you guys notice this, but sometimes in the morning, you'll see me always adjusting my bra strap, like on the right-hand side. That's the only side that I ever have to adjust it on because quite frankly, it is always falling down on that side. So it's almost like I can't have them. That's like I'd have to adjust this one up a bit more. This is just TMI, too much information, I know. But I'd have to adjust it up a bit more because it's always falling down because of the way that my spine is curved. So I suspect that one of the reasons why I tend to put more pressure on the right foot, because I've been on the little machine at the podiatrist's office, and he's like, oh yeah, the right foot is far worse. I suspect that's exactly why it's far worse, because of just this whole, you know, posture thing, which is impacted by the scoliosis, and I just walk heavier on the right side. So I don't think there's anything really that I can do about it, in the sense that, you know, especially back in those days, they were like, don't touch surgery, just leave it alone. And, you know, you kind of just live with it and live with the consequences of it. So, it is what it is. You don't really want to go around messing with your spine if you don't have to in terms of surgery and stuff, right? So for now, we leave it. We do all the other things, therapy. Yeah, it's not oh God, what is this word? Plantar fasciitis or whatever. It's not that, but yeah, it's just a pain in my rear is what it is. But anyway, you know, I massage it. So I have a foot massager that helps. Yeah, anyway, getting old too. None of this stuff gets any easier as you get older, for sure. But it's something that I've always had, because I remember that even as a kid, I'd get these like pains and stuff in my foot. And I was always thinking, what the heck was this? And now, you know, as an adult, I've been able to explore a bit more in terms of what it is. And so, yeah, I now know. Knowledge is half the problem, is knowing. Because then, of course, once you know what something is, you have the opportunity to then try to address it. And then sometimes I just gotta manually. Oh yes, and I did get a foot cream made. So when I went to the doctor in April, she gave me a prescription for this foot cream, and nobody came and had it. And when I went to the pharmacy in Miami, the lady said, listen, this isn't something that we normally carry. This is, you know, a particular brand name and whatever. And she says, but do you know how much this foot cream is without insurance? Because I'm thinking, you know, maybe $25 or something. And she's like, no, it's $2,000. I was like, what? A $2,000 foot cream? This better fix the foot, wash the dishes, pay the mortgage, and get a third job around here, because I have the first and second jobs. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? She's like, no, this cream is really expensive. So, you know, the thing about it is you just never know what some of these physicians, especially the ones overseas, because they get all kind of kickbacks from recommending a particular prescription, right? So anyway, I was able to get a cream here made that seems to have helped. It's got pretty much the same ingredients that were in this other cream, this other $2,000 cream, except this one wasn't $2,000. Mind you, it's not cheap either. It is hundreds of dollars worth of creams. I get 3 little vials. And so I'm supposed to put those on a couple days ago, a couple times a day. Normally I do like once before bedtime. But anyway, yes, and it has CBC oil in it because the doctor said, you know what, let's put some CBC oil in it because I think it'd help. I said, yeah, whatever. All right, anything that will help. So I have a doctor that says, I'm just tuning in. I wonder if it's this metatarsalgia. So it's not exactly that, but I think it's very close in a way. What to do? Be thankful because I've got feet. That's what I'm going to do. All right. We got feet and we shall dance on occasion and put them up on occasion. So yes, I was only saying that to say that in case you see me moving around a little bit, that's because I'm moving on my ice pack. All right, let's get on to a few things here. I'm feeling super hot this morning. When does the change of life start, y'all? Flashes. Mia, good morning. How are you? I know some days y'all like, okay, this is just TMI. Hospitals charge $800 for a bag of salt water. Well, no, listen, making a compound, I suppose, is not the easiest thing in the world to get it just right. So I'm sure that this is, they got to make a profit on these things. Like I keep telling y'all, doctors are for profit, just like lawyers are for profit. Hospitals are for profit. They're not here to fix you for free. So, yes. So the pressure is always along that big toe and then it radiates into the ball of the foot. All right. So somebody's asking if Mr. Bush will be resigning today now that the storm has passed. What a man that seems to always pick the most inopportune time to misbehave. Because then there's always there's his storm, which is bad enough. And then there's also always another literal storm that is coming. I have not heard that Mr. Bush has resigned. So I suspect that he hasn't resigned. So, lower your expectations, unfortunately, when it comes to him. I hate to tell you, but he's not going to do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing. And if y'all were hoping that, the little chat that we tried to put that positive message to put your country first, for him, that would be lip service. He's going to put that in a nice press release and it's going to say that and, in his quote. But the God's honest truth is this is a man who will only put self first. It's so unbelievable. The level of selfishness. Now, before we get into the post-hurricane stuff, last week, hey, Brother Tommy, how are you? Last week, I was talking about MPs on Thursday and part of Friday about their salaries and other stuff. And some people took a little bit of insult to saying that some of these MPs have never seen this kind of paycheck in their life. And I think the reason that someone might have taken insult to it was because I'm not sure I think they kind of hyper-focused on the wrong thing. This isn't, listen, if you're a professional, you go to law school, right? You study for, the UK system's a little bit different. You can become a lawyer after your first degree, right? In the US, a lawyer is, and I'm not trying to say that UK lawyers are not professionals, but I'm saying from an educational perspective, you require more to become a lawyer under the US system because you've got to have a bachelor's degree first, and then you go on and do your law school program. Whereas in the UK system, a law degree is a bachelor's degree. That's like the equivalent, right? It's not a doctorate level degree, which is what it's considered in the US. So that's why they call it JD in the US. So, but nonetheless, the Juris Doctor, you go to law school, you come out. Here in the Cayman Islands, I suppose it depends on what type of law you do, where you're going to start on the payment scale, and also what sort of law firm that you're working with. But say you start out, at $5,000, $6,000 a month, right? And you work your way up. It takes you a minute to get to $11,000 a month. The point that I was making is that as an MP, you could not have a high school education. I mean, there are MPs who do not have a high school diploma. Okay. No real world experience, never worked much in your life. You may have had a business that was floundering and failing and you weren't doing much with it. And you just jump up one day and say, I want to be an MP, and you're going to run for public office. And all of a sudden you're making $11,000 a month. I think that that's important for the people to understand. That when you elect individuals, if you don't care anything about their criteria, but you're going to pay them top dollar to get a job done, and then when they don't do said job and they fail you and they don't meet the mark, we shouldn't be giving them a whole lot of passes. So, one person in particular kept messaging me about, I don't think you should highlight that because, what about the governor? He's making all this money. What about the, and I said, listen, I don't know what Governor Martin Roper's credentials are, but I'm pretty sure the man has a high school diploma. I'm also pretty sure that he has some professional qualifications. And I'm pretty sure he has, like I said, I don't know what his salary is, but I'm pretty sure he has worked a long time to get to that salary point. He didn't just start out making $11,000 a month. So if you take issue with it, I think you're misunderstanding the entire point of what was really being said. It is we, the people, are paying you, the MPs, a job. And I have no issue with what we're paying you in theory, if you were actually performing on the job. But the lack of performance questions for some whether or not we're truly getting value for money. And not only is there a lack of performance, they get all these other allowances and benefits of the office. And then when I hear them wanting certain positions to get even more money, I have to say, pump the brakes and talk to me here. I hate this, I'm entitled to something just because of who you are. And that includes being a Caymanian. I've never understood it. And quite frankly, it is not something that I condone. The only thing that you are entitled to as a Caymanian is an opportunity. So yes, I believe as a Caymanian, if you're qualified, you should be the first person to get that job. You should be the first person to get that opportunity. But then it is on you to go in there and prove yourself. Nobody else is going to be bankrolling you. But this is part of the problem. This is why children have expectations that are unrealistic, right? No one should be bankrolling you and pushing you through the system to make $11,000 a month just because you're a Caymanian. We shouldn't give our MPs a pass just because they're a Caymanian. You need to perform. And the irony is, if you're not performing in your current job, how are you going to want a promotion? What universe are you unrealistically living in? And then the saddest thing is when certain people are ready to join ranks with the progressives and tear this government apart, destabilize this country in order to get what they want. And I had people arguing with me, well, no, that can't be who I'm thinking it is. I've been friends with that person a long time. You can be friends with somebody for donkey years. I don't care. The truth is, you may not know all what you think you know. I'm just saying. You can be friends with someone and you can have a lot of expectations of them as an MP, but boy, let me tell you something. If you know what I know, don't put your neck on the line for nobody. Don't swear for anyone, especially politicians, because they will let you down. You better believe that. Oh no, this person's not like that. I've known them for years. I'm really good friends with them. Well, that's fantastic. I'm so glad that you feel that way. And there are people who've been friends with them way longer than you, honey child. And I can assure you that those people have had a lightning bulb moment. So y'all sit there thinking that Sandy don't know what's going on. Good morning, Flora. How are you, my dear? Looking good. She says, I'm watching. Good morning. Damon says they put these friends on boards who are not qualified either. I mean, that's bad enough, right? For sure. Because, I mean, I think the whole thing in board appointments should be completely scrapped and redone. And this is my greatest fear when it comes to these so-called, what are we calling it? District councils. Everybody's up in arms. We need district councils. This is going to be, because I don't know, are district councils going to be another paid position? Because it seems to me that district councils is going to be another waste of money. the people's money. And at the end of the day, we are going to end up regretting putting district councils in place, because it's going to be another way to pay back political favors when it should not be. So someone says, but Sandy, what about the commissioner? He's being paid for his duties and role as the commissioner, and all his bills are paid by us, the people. So where's the salary he's making going? We, as normal citizens, work and get paid and pay our own bills. Why he is any different? A lot of foolishness going on in Cayman, and the white man prospers while us Black people suffer. He lives in the biggest apartment in Governor's Way. Where's Governor's Way? If that's what it's called, across from the Kimpton. So it's not cheap, and he's living in style for free and still being paid. So we are paying, and this is certainly news to me, because I don't know why we'd be paying all of his expenses, because as far as I know, we don't do that with anyone except the governor, maybe. And I think the UK, we'll have to double check who's paying the governor's salary. But you're saying to me that the police commissioner gets a full-time salary and we're paying his expenses? And where exactly did that information come from? Because I don't know that. So I need to know, where's that information coming from? Because we certainly do that. We don't do it for prison. We don't do it for police or anybody else. They may get, and I don't know if this is still in place or not, but at one point they were getting some sort of a moving allowance, like when they move here, because we were recruiting people from overseas. I'm going to fact check this, because this is one of those things that I don't necessarily know to be true. And I know a lot of times people say stuff as though it's true, when in fact it actually isn't. And so we got to fact check these things. I haven't seen the man's bills, so I don't have any idea if that's the case or not. But let's fact check it and see, because I also had a problem when we were giving the former, not the one that just left, but the fire chief before that, all this money for overtime. I'm like, why is he being paid overtime? When he would just show up at a site to say, oh, I'm here, to show up as a fire. And then he was recording it as overtime. You guys remember the story? And when he ended up leaving the jurisdiction, this man was walking away with a bag of cash in addition to everything else. And I thought, why in that position would that even be an overtime position? Most management positions are not overtime. But what it was is he was getting time in lieu of, but he never took the time because he kept just adding on to it. So when we posted that story, you guys might remember, the Compass editor at the time, that would have been Mr. Leggy, was up in arms about, well, how did we get these official documents? Because we need to know how CMR got those documents, because that's a problem. The problem wasn't the fact that we were paying someone overtime who shouldn't have been, or time in lieu of, who really shouldn't have been getting it. It was, how did they get the information? El Rey says, trust no one and expect the unexpected. So we'll confirm that without a doubt. As a matter of fact, let me send it to France this morning. He's probably still sleeping after yesterday, but we'll confirm it. And just remember, people will say and tell you all kind of stuff, but people don't necessarily know what they're talking about. I know everybody believes they know everything. Trust me. I like to verify. Miss Dorothy, El Rey is here. El Rey says, trust no one and expect the unexpected. That's for sure. Trust me, like I said, if you know what you know. So yeah, relocation, that for sure I know is a fact. And they used to get, I think, 1 or 2 trips back home per annum, but I kind of feel like that is no longer the case either, or it might have been reduced to 1, but again, those are the kind of allowances. Listen, if you pick up from wherever you live, Timbuktu, the UK, Canada, the US, I don't care where you're coming from, and you decide to move to the Cayman Islands, and you still want to go back and visit your family back home, that's your business. We shouldn't be footing that bill, okay? Because you're going to be making top dollar, tax-free here in this jurisdiction. And so, yeah, it's not a situation where you should be getting any additional travel allowances. You want a ticket back to the UK? Buy your own ticket out of your money. It's as simple as that. All right, let's talk about Hurricane Ian. Hurricane Ian is going to pose a serious threat for the United States, in particular, Florida. So we are definitely thinking about our family and friends in the Florida area. And make your plans now, folks, because the storm is about to become no joke whatsoever. Belika, thank you so much. He says, in the African country of Zambia, you need a high school diploma to run for parliament. I mean, I'm just saying, like, some standards wouldn't be a bad idea. Morning, Miss Dawn. Most places in the world, for you to take away and walk away with $11,000, you need some kind of qualification. And to me, it is so incredibly shocking, because let me be very, very clear. These are the same people that you're going to put to work with civil servants who have high school diplomas, master's degrees, doctorates in some cases. And the civil servants are advising them on policy, and the politicians will say, no, well, that not gonna work, or this not gonna. It's kind of like one of those things where you have a kindergartner trying to be the high school teacher. And they don't necessarily have a clue, unless we're saying that our politicians are nothing more than a figurehead, and we're happy to pay them that kind of money to just regurgitate what they're being told by the civil servants and their chief officers. Because some of them don't even know when their chief officers are leading them astray, and to be able to dissect and question things. It's a very deep conversation, Belika and others, that we need to have, not just on one occasion, but on more than one. So we will definitely circle back around to this idea of whether or not you're getting value for money, and even what the qualifications are for your MPs. Because let me be very clear. There are some people who have degrees and have a piece of paper who don't got no sense whatsoever. So don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm not saying just because someone has a law degree that makes them a better politician than someone who doesn't. Because I've seen, in Cayman, we use this term educated fool, which is a little bit of an insult, but in a way, you understand exactly what it means. It means that there are people who have the requisite qualifications on paper, but in the real world, they still need to be in the back of the classroom because they still don't have a clue. And they still don't have the skill set to be able to do anything. So degree doesn't mean that you know what you know. That just means that you were able to probably pass an exam and, work your way through at least 4 years. I always chuckle when people count an associate's degree as a degree. Not to put down an associate's, but it's like the first part of a master's. Like, don't go patting yourself in the back because you got an associate's degree. Especially when you have you know what is so bizarre? When you actually have the full degree, the bachelor's degree, why do people still list the associates? I'm like, what? Did you really do the 4 years? Damien says an educated fool. It's a term that Caymanians use often. And for some people, it is very, very applicable. Trust me. Aliano says, what are the real qualifications to become a politician then? Because you see people transition in and out of government from the bottom and out the top at fat pockets and honorifics out the wazoo. We low-tier people in society suffer with poor performing, incompetent politicians. Well, you know who's ultimately to blame for that, right? We the people. How about them apples to chew on this morning? Who else can we blame? There are no qualifications. There are no prerequisites. So when people come to us and they present a certain image, well, the truth of the matter is, I guess we all want to believe. We want to believe in the dream. We're like believers in unicorns and fairy tales, because people can sell us a bag of nothing, hot air. And we're okay with it. We get all excited during election time. They get on a platform and their platform is about trying to make other people look bad. And for us, that's okay. And I'm not necessarily saying that you don't point out the inadequacies of your opponent. But remember when Alden did that song about Sammy? He played that, I think it's like a calypso song about Sammy and something. I don't really know the song. but it's considered a very insulting song. Y'all were jumping up, dancing, and applauding Alden like a monkey. And look at who got reelected. And yet, during Hurricane Ian, when Sabrina was on, I had someone message me about an elderly couple who needs help, and they live in such and such a street, and they think that's Sabrina's. And I'm like, no. I said, did you know that Sabrina's office is, because they're like, oh, it's close to her office. And I said, well, you do realize that her office is actually not in Prospect. Her office is in Red Bay. So if you say to me it's close to her office, this person probably lives in Red Bay and they need to go call Alden, who's not going to answer the phone. Now, Alden is one of those educated individuals. He has a law degree. I don't think he has anything else, but he has a law degree. He's a lawyer and a partner in a law firm. But perfect example of having a degree doesn't necessarily mean that you have the best interests of your people at heart. So when you talk about what you're looking for in an MP, you got to look for a well-rounded individual. Having a formal education is potentially helpful, right? Because you don't want somebody who doesn't even know how to add numbers in charge of your finances. Like, I wouldn't be the person, even though I have 3-4 degrees, that you would put as a finance minister. So people need to be honest about their limitations, because I despise numbers up to a certain extent. I only need them to be able to plug them into QuickBooks, and QuickBooks can do the reports for me, right? Anything beyond that, forecasting, I'm like, no, you're making my brain hurt. But most politicians are not honest about who they are and about their limitations, even in that sense. They'll grab a position just for the sake of grabbing a position, right? And so it does become something that the people need to start looking at. We need to have a little chart up every time somebody says they want to run for political office. Some people don't even come out the barn. Some people, it's like, nope, you're not even getting a single vote. Come out the race. I call it the geriatric club. You've been there, you've done that, you've had your chance. They came out and people are saying, no, we don't want any old farts in there. We need some fresh blood. Fresh blood can be a good thing. Now, you do need some degree of experience as well, right? You need people who have a good moral compass, at least up to a certain point, so they're not going to be in there selling the whole country away, giving the country away, giving away all these concessions that don't even make there's no business case for them. You need people who actually can stand up and be honest and tell the truth. And truth telling means that sometimes you have to tell your own people the truth, and they may not want to hear it. So when we have conversations on this show, telling our young people, you need to learn about family planning and how the impact of that in a real way impacts your success in life. When we have to talk about sex education and educating your children, right, for their own good and to protect them. That's a lot of truth telling that these MPs don't want to have, because some of their co-workers in Parliament happen to be pedophiles and they like to touch little boys and girls underage, and others are just womanizers and the whole nine yards. So I think that you need to have a whole list before the next election. We should go through this and really contemplate what is it that we actually want in our elected officials, and maybe even rank it. Like, what is the most important thing to you? Is it honesty? Is it being qualified to do the job and you don't care if your politicians are honest? You don't care if they have a moral compass? You don't care if they hang at the bar every single weekend? You're like, nope, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care if they got a wife and 50 side chicks. That's fine. As long as they show up to the job, they're dedicated to the people, and they do the job. One of the most important traits of a politician is to actually be a good manager. Because now you have an MP office. You got to be able to manage more than just your household, your personal household, because some of them can't even do that. They don't know how to fix a sandwich or even organize somebody to fix a sandwich in their household. Everything gets confused. And the children are all over the place, and there's poor chaos. And then all of a sudden they're elected as an MP. You give them staff and an MP office and 1,000 constituents that they now have to serve. And they don't even understand what the word service means and how to get stuff done. You know, when you run to an MP and you say, I got a problem. Oh, yeah. This is what they love to do. I know a couple, they're good at this. Oh, I can't believe that this is happening. I'm going to look into this for you. I'm going to speak to, like if it's an HSA related matter, listen carefully. I'm going to speak to Mr. Lizette about this. Blah, 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 blah. And then nothing ever happens. Lizette don't get a phone call, because I must tell you, y'all can say what you want about Lizette, but she's actually a very proactive person. If you message her and call you, she's going to respond. She does not ignore people's responses. And if she can say something, she's going to tell you. If she can't say it, she's going to say she can't comment on that and whatever, right? But there's a situation right now with an elderly man. He wants me to come and interview him because he's cussing HSA and cynical about his coverage and this, that, and the next thing. And I understand that there's much more to the story than meets the eye. But when concerned citizens went to that particular MP, oh yeah, this is not right. I'm going to get this resolved for you. And all no, not resolved. They haven't gotten back to them. No questions answered. No, nothing. And it's like, are you for real? Like, they're not even organized is what I'm telling you. And yet they want Speaker of the House. They want ministerial positions. They want all kind of stuff. Y'all need to take some seats. If I told you how disorganized some of these MPs would be, but I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. I'm just here telling you, the voters, to start expecting more, because going into the next election, we're going to have to ask some serious questions about their performance. Good morning, Miss Darlene. She says, our people keep putting them back in Parliament. Yes. Ultimately, we, the people, are the ones who are responsible. And I got to tell you, some of the people that should have been given an opportunity, you know, with the last go round did not get the opportunity. And for the world of me, I don't understand why that is. I really, really don't get it. Ugh. Some days I wish, now I told you guys that I have no intentions of running for political office, and that is the God's truth. But, you know, they always tell you never say never. But you know what I wish I could do? I wish I could be an elected member, but not have to, like the salary, that $11,000, I'd be like, okay, put that in my constituency budget and let me see what I can do with that and how many people I could help. But I need the staff. So that's why I want to become an MP, because I need the help. I need the office assistant. I need the office and all this other stuff. Oh my gosh, we could get so much done. And sometimes, you know, y'all would be coming to me about, oh yeah, Sandy is not going to take a salary. So she's got this $11,000. I need my CUC bill. And I'm going to say, sit down, honey chow. Sit down in that seat right over there. So tell me why you're here today asking me to pay your CUC bill, because you're not going to be easy to get money out of my hands. Now, I told you I'm not the person that you put in charge of finance, but that doesn't mean that I'm a fool with my money. Understand me now. I'm no financial expert, but I'm also no fool. So I'm going to say to you, oh, you have a $900 CUC bill that's over 2 or 3 months. Why? Let's look at your economics. We need to get you a job, because you shouldn't be here looking a handout every single month. We need to get you in a position where you get caught up on that bill. Why do you have all these people living with you? So some of y'all got children in your household who are not even contributing to the household bills. Listen, I am not one who believes that you should have your children living with you till they're 50 years old. Now, I know that that's the Caymanian way, but I'm supposing a lot of you might have figured out by now that I'm really not a traditional Caymanian in a lot of ways, right? And this is definitely one of them. As a matter of fact, I appreciate the American model. When you become 18, get out. Go out on your own. Learn. Because there's certain things in life that you're only going to learn through experience. If mama and daddy is always cooking for you and doing every little thing for you, you will never learn to be self-sufficient. Irvelin says, praise the Lord on that one. Go and live your life. Learn how to budget. There were things that honestly I didn't understand or know how to do until I was on my own, and you learn the hard way. Sometimes you mess up and you fail, and you do have your electricity turned off and you don't have anyone to run to. But guess what? Next month, you're gonna figure it out. People are not there to always save you in life. It's good that people can at times save you, but sometimes you got to learn how to save yourself. And I find that I don't know if it's so much a Caribbean thing, but definitely Caymanians, we cuddle people too much, and especially our children. That's why y'all into cuddling badness too. Your children are bad. They're out there doing drugs and doing the most, and y'all turning a blind eye and cuddling them. Oh, my little TD, he the best little thing. It's like, really? Is he really? No, he's not. He's a terror. He's terrorizing the neighborhood. He's terrorizing the police, always in and out of court. And there you go, showing up to court, talking about you want to be his, you want to bail him yet again for the 50th time. I look at these people and I think, what is wrong with you? Let these children learn the hard way. They're adults. Kick them out at 18. You're on your own. You want an education? Now that then we can talk. You know what my 6-year-old said to me yesterday? She's like, Mommy, do I have to go to college? And I was like, yeah, it's not an option around here. I don't even know why she's asking the question. I have no idea where it came from. Do I have to go to college? Yes, you have to go to college. There's certain things in life that are not optional, especially if you're under my roof. Now, if you are a student, you can stay under my roof until you've completed that first degree. Now, some kids want to be in school forever because they know you'll never kick them out. Y'all need to have a conversation now. But Live says they took home economics out of school. Well, they need to put it back. Trust me. If you only make $5, you can only spend, and really, you should be saving a portion of that. But you only have at the most $4.99 to spend. And most people think, oh, I make $5, I can spend $100 on something. And that's just not how it works. So they're always looking for people to bail them out of situations. So when you showed up to my volunteer MP office, honey child, I'd be like, okay, let's look at your finances. Are you working? If you're working, where's the money going? Because unfortunately, people get complacent. You bail them out this time, and every other time they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're going to keep bailing me out. No. My $11,000 isn't for that. It's for community projects and people who are truly in need. Because like I said, we all have our moments of need when we need that lifeboat. But the lifeboat doesn't come to you every single month. Aliana says, is there some form of law that the community table before the Legislative Assembly to remove an MP, a vote of no confidence, because we wait too late to see them remove? Well, I tell you what, I do believe that it is a lot harder to get people removed now under this constitution than it was before. But the way to remove people, Aliano, is not to vote them in. Hear the logic of this. It is much easier to avoid a bad decision than to fix a bad decision. And that includes your MPs. Now, granted, because some of them are, because some of them are in there for donkey years, you can't help what happened 25 years ago. But here and now, the standards have to change for what you expect of your MPs. And so to answer Aliano's question, the best thing you can do is to scrutinize people more before you put them in public office. And don't just take everything they say during an election at face value. Put them to the test. And you see, this is the problem. Some of these people, you can't honestly put them to the test because they have no experience. They've never managed anything. So you can't say, okay, what's their management style? What's their leadership style? They've never been a leader. They've never managed anything. So when you put them in there and you see them acting like little children, and you thought, oh my gosh, I had better expectations of her or him or whatever. It's like, okay, why did I have those expectations again? Because I didn't actually see anything that would have led me to believe this person was actually going to be great at the job. It's only what they presented. And not everything that people present to you is the truth. Huh? Right? People put on a facade all the time. They look good all the time. They say the right things. But I'm a firm believer, and you keep listening to people and you keep watching with a keen eye, and eventually people divulge who they are. You can't hide your true self forever. That's why the saying goes, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Real Deal says you'll be getting enough hard luck stories from people every day. People need to get off their lazy, you know what, when they know they can't get a free handout. And listen, that salary that I wouldn't be taking isn't about free handouts. We need to create systems and processes in place that give people a hand up. I believe in a hand up. I don't believe in a handout. And there is a difference. You create opportunities for people to learn certain skills. You guys know, or you may not know, that in a former life, I started my own business here in the Cayman Islands because, let's just say that my mouth enough for me. And so, I'm better probably as an entrepreneur 85% of the time than working for somebody else. That's just how it is. And I've come to terms with that as my life journey, and I've accepted that. There might be certain situations where I will work well with people. I'm not saying I don't work well with people, but I don't like being subjected to people's whims and fancies as they want to change it around, right? And I don't believe in mistreating people. I believe in having certain standards. And for a lot of employers, especially here in the Cayman Islands, that just don't work out. So, I'm like, let me do my own thing. So I've been a trainer for many, many years. I've had lots of government contracts training people and all sorts of training, professional training, computer training, all sorts of stuff. And I'll have people even up to this day that says, oh, Miss Sandy, remember when you did that course? Because we used to do a course, basically nonprofit, for the Department of Children and Family Services for people who were going through one of their programs. And I did a customer service training course with them. And, to this day, so many people be like, oh, I still have my certificate. Thank you so much. I learned so much from you, that sort of thing. We did, I did free IT training at the public library. These are skills that you can give people that will help them attain a job. And that's what a hand up is all about. I don't need to help you pay your bills if you have a job and you can do it yourself. So I completely agree with Real Deal. There are some people who are looking for handouts. And what you should really be looking for is a hand up in life so that you can be self-sufficient. I'm not about that life. So I don't want you to get confused now. Gabby says, you know how much for a sheet of plywood? Why wouldn't they help their constituents make sure that their homes are secure and safe from a storm? Some people can't afford home insurance in these times. Well, don't say that too loudly, Gabby, because if you got a mortgage and no home insurance, you're going to be in trouble with your mortgagee. But I agree. I mean, listen, I didn't even go out and price any plywood, although I have 1,000,001 windows. I was like, well, I hope the claim that they're double pane is really true because we're about to find out here shortly. I was thinking about it with this storm, though, in that I really need to probably look at investing in some shutters. But can I tell you, this sounds really ridiculous, but I hate the look of most shutters. They just make a house look so horrible. And then the worst thing is they get the little frogs in the creases. And then poor old me, I'll be walking outside and a frog is going to jump on me and give me a heart attack. And I won't have to worry about the next storm. That's how the illogical brain thinks. The logical side of my brain is like, forget the frogs, look at some shutters and start saving your money towards some shutters. Because it's only a matter of time now, 18 years since the last major hurricane, Sandy. It's only a matter of time before the next major hurricane is going to come knocking at the doors of the Cayman Islands. It's just a numbers game. And the numbers are not in our favor. So, I'm trying to think, who can I pinch and I'm going to steal from Paul over here, which would have been my little entertainment fund or something, to save up for some shutters. These are the things, by the way, Gabby, a lot of people say, why can't I get a mortgage? I'm paying $1,200 in rent, $1,500 in rent, whatever. If I can pay that, I can pay that in mortgage. These are the things that the bank is always thinking about, honey child. It's not just about the mortgage. It's the mortgage. It's the health insurance, the life insurance. It is the insurance on the property. And it's these things that you might need to invest in for your home, such as hurricane shutters. And so, yeah, you know, I haven't even really thought too much about hurricane shutters, and I should. Ugh. Look that now. Look at what you gone and did, that Gabby. You're making me think about something that I really don't want to think about, but I'm gonna have to. Shannon says, "Oh, I had an MP sugarcoat everything for me, and said, oh, the good have to suffer for the bad.' Well, like what the hell? That's not the answer. I'm asking you for genuine help. Also, a gracious thanks to MP Andre Ebanks, as he fought hard for me to get my health insurance, which I almost, I think that's supposed to be always, so grateful for. He called me and discussed his thoughts about how he was going to tackle the issue on NAU not wanting to grant me a generational Cayman by both parents that has a lifelong lung illness that cannot get coverage, and then unfortunately got cut off. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Andre. I don't know Andre personally at all. I must say that he's probably the MP that I know the least about. But I've had a lot of really, really positive feedback about him. We still tried to get him on the show because I think there's a lot of conversations that need to be had about NAU. They're looking at revamping NAU in a massive way. And we've invited them on the show to discuss this, but all now, honey child, I don't know which civil servants we got to put some fire under, but we'd really like to get them on the program because I think the people deserve to understand the changes and how the changes are going to impact their lives, the proposed changes, because they haven't been passed as yet. Flashpoint says, I don't know if Sabrina's a good government minister, but she does seem to work hard with her constituency, and she does seem to try her best to support and represent her constituents. This is one of those things, Flashpoint, that I think is really, really important, because at the end of the day, you are an MP first and foremost, and then you're a minister. And I know that sounds weird because you're probably thinking the ministerial position should come first. No. Who voted you in to become minister? You and your little colleagues. Who voted you in to become an MP? The larger community. So in my mind, who you need to be serving the most is the larger community. And I must agree with you that Sabrina has really stepped up to the plate in a really good way. Now, some other MPs who are not doing their job, it's amazing how salty they can get. You know that, well, I guess we're all human beings. You know that some MPs get jealous over each other? This is a lack of maturity, I think. But this is sometimes why they be trying to show each other up. So I'm going to take the glory and the thunder and beat my proverbial, chest, because my ape-like chest, because I want the attention focused on me. It's so interesting. People really get in their feelings. Oh, the person went out of town and they didn't leave me acting, or they didn't ask me to do this, or they were on my platform and they sounded better than me. It's like, well, whose fault is that? Surely that's not the other person's fault. I know of a situation where another MP was paid a compliment in front of another MP, and the second MP got upset about it. Like, well, what about my performance? It's like, you're not a bunch of monkeys performing in the zoo, or maybe you are. That's a problem. But it's like, really? That's the level of maturity that we're at? That's where we are? About attention seeking? Just get to work. And so I agree with you, Flashpoint, that Sabrina has been doing a really good job in her constituency. Like I said, so much so that people who are not even in her constituency think that they are, and they want help too. Because the one next door to her, Alden, is kind of MIA a lot of times. I did see Alden during the storm, by the way. I saw him on, what day is today? Tuesday? That would have been Saturday. I was passing by the PPM office and I saw him out front. So at least he went to the office. And the government has said that any opposition MPs that needed plywood or whatever to help their people, they did as much as they could to help them. I agree with Chris Saunders, though, that we need a permanent fix to this storm situation, because, hello, storms are going to come. So we need to start working in hurricane shutters into all bills for new homes. That should be a thing, right? You shouldn't be able to build a house and get a mortgage without including hurricane shutters. Like the banks need to do, like how they're doing a solar program, helping you get solar, zero down, blah, blah, blah. Do something similar with some hurricane shutters, honey child. Zero down, 100% financing. Reduce interest rate if you want some hurricane shutters. Tag it onto the mortgage because it's only going to protect your home and I dare say increase the value of your home and property as well. Evelyn saying amen this morning. Aliano says, yes, Miss Sandy, I agree. But what factors are leading some to be non-independent? Because we see it and fail to address the real issue. Because one thing is the lack of job security, proper wages, and sound labor laws. In terms of working for yourself, well, you don't have job security if you work for other people. I mean, don't be fooled. You're here today and gone today. I don't know what kind of security that is, honey child. I don't know. Okay, Live says, I disagree with you on leaving home at 18. No child of mine is going to pay anybody's mortgage. Absolutely. It's college, work, save money, and purchase your home. That's how it is for our family. I understand the logic up to a point of what Caymanians try to do. And I agree that college, yes. But let me tell you something, Live. If your child moves out at 35 finally, and they've never even paid a mortgage in their life, you do understand that you've only delayed and kicked the can down the road in terms of the life lessons that they're going to have to learn. Now, unless you're going to make them pay your mortgage while they're at home with you, which you could be doing, you could give them some financial responsibility. The point is, there are 25-year-olds still living at home who have no financial responsibility whatsoever. Mom and daddy does everything. Mom and daddy pays for everything, and they're not productive. So this is where the real issue comes in. They're not working. They're not in college. And so in those cases, I'm not going to be like, no child of mine is going to pay anybody's mortgage. Yeah, you get out and pay something. Because that's how your kids are going to learn some degree of responsibility. Balika says there's nothing wrong with saying that some MPs have not earned those salaries before. This is what sometimes contributes to them selling out the people. That said, I admire some MPs who continue to advocate for the same issues they advocated before the election. And this, hence, is the reason why I also say, let's not make MPs a pauper. I'm not saying let's pay them nothing, because they're more likely to sell you out the river, I suppose, if they're not getting anything for being in the position. But at the same time, greed is something that you cannot control. But you could be making $1 million and still it is not enough. You feel me? It really depends on the individual. There are people who make so much money and they can't get enough. It's like, what are you going to do with all this money? It don't make no difference to them. Caribbean Sunshine says, good morning, my reina. For those of you who don't know what that means my queen. My crown is it's not a crown of jewels like Queen Elizabeth, but thank you very much, Caribbean Sunshine. Aliano says, yes, work the dead-end job. And how does that affect one in the long run? What's the knock-on effect of low income, bad choices? But stagnant employment opportunities, we can cry about poor people not going nowhere fast if you cannot afford to live here. Darlene says, don't leave out DCFS. They need revamping too. Darlene, that was Charlene, my apologies. Darlene says that maybe they will mostly tell her people that what they were making before, they did not had to run for politics. They were happy with what they were making. Maybe it's one of those pointers that they use to fool our people. Well, it is definitely one thing to say that you don't need the job of an MP for the money and the salary. but you want to be there for other reasons. That's fine. And listen, you know what? Let me be very honest with you. I have no issue with a person saying that I actually need this job for the money, because that would be a degree of honesty that would actually be refreshing for most of our MPs to say, yes, I need the job for the money and I intend to work my butt off for it. Because, you know, if they were working, getting $11,000, and like I said, some of these law firms, whatever, let me tell you, they would have to be putting down their hour every half an hour, billable hours. Tell us what it is that you're doing. Right? So they would have to justify their time and show you that they're actually working for it. So once again, the hyper focus for me isn't necessarily the money. It's about what are you doing? Because if you were truly working for that money, honey child, we gladly pay it. No problem. It's not an issue. Right? It's as simple as that. Now, to the person who sent in the thing about the police officer, I want you to listen very carefully. I know you thought you got it from a good source, but France Manderson has replied. You said send it to France, and he has replied. And he says, good morning. I'm not aware of any of his bills being paid. This is the police commissioner. He gets a housing allowance like other police officers. So somebody gave you bad intel, bad information on the commissioner. And then you use that, because remember the question now was about how he's getting all this money and he's getting his big time apartment down across from the Kimpton. Well, he's paying that himself. Whatever his salary is, he is paying that himself. This is why you got to be careful when people come to you telling you something like they know what's going on. Even when they are in a position to know, sometimes they don't know. And this is why information can be very dangerous for some people, because they'll just say anything and they don't have the facts. Andrea says, to be a politician, do they have to at least have some qualifications? A first degree? No, Andrea. I know you must have missed it, honey child. But I said they do not even need a high school diploma. They require nothing but your vote to get in. So Miss Charlene says she can attest to West Bay Central doing an outstanding job for her constituency, regardless of any negative narrative that might have been circulated by bad-minded or narcissistic individuals. What a mess. Mia says, amen. William says, you know what you're saying. Trust me, you'd be surprised. And I keep telling y'all, who you go to bat for does make a difference, but time reveals all. That's all I'm going to say. Sometimes time will reveal everything. And I know a lot of people, why would people be bad-minded towards people who are like the sweetest people in the world? Sometimes you got to question the logic as well. Strong Will, good morning. I live in Northwood. I haven't seen one MP, not even a sheet of plywood, but I'm waiting on the next election to see who's coming, knocking on my door. Hell with them, bunch of liars. Ay. Not tamale. Northward, that would be MP Saunders or the other one. I guess it maybe depend on what side of Northward. Well, I know MP Saunders was out and about. I mean, I don't know why he didn't come to you, Strong Will, but he definitely came knocking on my door. And of course, you know, I was good, but he was out with a entourage, and he joined the show talking about going out doing plywood and other things. Miss Sue says there isn't anywhere to rent now reasonable for young people or couples, and nothing to buy now like there used to be. And that is true too. I mean, an 18-year-old is going to definitely find it more difficult. That's why they better be in school. They're going to definitely find it more difficult to get something. But Sue, do you not think that as parents, we have an obligation to also be securing something for our children at this point, especially because we see the writing on the wall. You know, when I moved back to the Cayman Islands in 1996, it was September of 1996. Probably the following year or thereabouts, I saw property in Savannah, an acre of property in Savannah for like $60,000 owner finance. And I was like, who wants to live in Savannah? You know, I'm a Georgetowner originally. Now, mind you, since I've been back, well, I lived in West Bay for a little bit. Wouldn't repeat that situation, not in that area. And then I moved to Newlands. Well, I like Newlands, Savannah area. But still, I was like, this is the country. This is so far out. This shows you when you don't know, well, you don't know. It can be a dangerous thing. An acre of land for $60,000 owner finance. And now if I knew what I knew, child, I would have been jumping all over that. I would have been sweeping the streets to find the money to pay for that. Because you can't find an acre of land in Savannah for, oh, geez, some peace, please. $400,000. $500,000 for an acre now. So y'all better start thinking about your children. You can't live for just today, and you can't live just for yourself. Get a little something in their little student saver to help them pay for college. And honey child, get them one little square piece of something. Live says, yes, everybody in our family contributes and it is working fine. If you live in America, maybe you can think that way. But in the Cayman Islands, the furthest we're going to go is Georgetown. Dana says, good morning. You're looking pretty for being out in the storm yesterday. Okay, let's talk about the storm, Dana. I'm glad that you brought that up. Okay, couple things. So the regiment came and escorted me out. It wasn't in the storm, but the all clear hadn't officially, we were a couple hours out from the all clear being given. But one of the reasons why I was out and about with them is I wanted to get the experience and to be able to talk to you guys about what the regiment actually does. So they go out, they're clearing the streets, they're clearing debris, right? There's a couple arterial ways, the east-west arterial, you know, some minor shrubbery, whatever might have been in the roadway. So they're out clearing up all of those things. Yes. And we were doing a ride out with them for the purpose really of education and being able to share with you all, because again, some of you, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of you are anti-regiment and you don't even know what the regiment does. These are young Caymanian men and women who are volunteering their time to do things like after storm, help to clean up this country, to be ready to offer medical assistance if there's any, mass casualty situation, and to be able to assist. And yet there are people out there who have so much negativity to say surrounding the regiment, and they've not even taken the time to learn anything about the regiment. It's quite unfortunate. So we were out and about with them, getting a little bit of a lesson, if you will. Man, I tell you, they were having to stop and tell people to come off the streets. Groups of men just roving around. In South Sound, people in their $1 million condos were not satisfied with staying home and watching TV for the day or reading a good book. They're taking their teenage kids out to go walk South Sound Road and, walk down by the the boardwalk, which I need to go see if the boardwalk itself got any damage. But there was all kind of debris in the road down by South Sound. Why are you guys out in the road with your children? The winds were still kicking it up a bit. Y'all were going down by the water, jeopardizing your own lives. Why can't I read that on air? Oh, Lord. Well, somebody just defending an MP, somebody else said, don't listen to her. Trust me. What a mess. Listen, I listen to everyone, but I don't take everything on board that people say, because I personally know better. So don't worry about me being fooled with anything, child, because my ears are down to the ground. And you'd be surprised how much I benefit of the doubt I give people. Because I don't listen to everything as it comes to me, like, oh yeah, well, this person has an opinion, so that must be right, or this person claims that this happened. No, I listen for a long time before I start to make determinations about people. So don't worry yourself, honey child. So some of y'all were out there literally putting your lives in danger. So we posted this video of a surfer. Some people took offense to that. They're like, this surfer is out there surfing, blah, 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 blah. I must say that I'm less concerned about the surfer. Not entirely without concern, because to be quite frank and honest, I don't know of any professional surfers living in Cayman, but that doesn't mean that they don't live here or that they're not people of really good experience surfing. But there's also people who don't even understand rip currents and rip tides. And during a storm like this, this is not a regular wave of a situation. There's some countries and some jurisdictions like Hawaii, some of the islands have the best waves in the world. And that's why all the professional surfers go there, or they go surfing off of California. They can get a lot of wave experience. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a surfer. So 93626 is a number. If you're a surfer, do let me know. A wave created by a storm could be very different than a wave created by just regular surf waves. Remember what Blake was saying at the beginning of the program, how at 6 o'clock in the morning, the waterfront looked so good. And then he was shocked to see later on the day that it was looking like this. And like this, where the waves were coming in so hard that they actually ripped up a portion of the asphalt in the Burger King parking lot. That is a lot of wave and tumultuous action. So while the all clear was not given, y'all were still, look at this. This piece of plywood split a tree, like went right through a tree. People out there taking chances. This young man who was caught on video in the water playing around with God knows what, one piece of driftwood or something. The police actually spoke to him. I think this is the guy from the Compass who's like, what are you doing? The police actually spoke to him and said, son, get out of the water. He laughed at them and then walked off. Let me be very clear. If the all clear has not been given and you're not out there for a purpose with emergency personnel, or you're in your emergency staff yourself or whatever, you are putting not only your own life at risk, but also the lives of other people. And that is really, really quite unfortunate. No one should have to find themselves, folks, in this position where a first responder has to go out there and save, and I don't care if it's a surfer or the average jackass who just thinks it's funny to be on the shore of the water, not caring about his own life. Now, if he has a suicide mission, that's on him. But it's not on him when it's our first responders who are going to have to go out there and try to save him. How about that? It's not fair to them. They have loved ones and they care about their own lives. So this is really irresponsible. I don't know who this young man is. I don't know if any of you can identify him, but please check on him to see if he has a death wish, if he has some mental health issues. Because what he was seen doing was really just crazy. I'll show you guys some videos here today. People being wrecked. Oh yeah, we're coming in on that. Just driving at a time when you needed to stay home. If the all clear is given, you should not be on the road. Like I said, unless you have a lawful excuse, a lawful purpose. The other thing that's amazing to me is some of you complained about your employers telling you to come into work when the all clear has not been given. Now, I don't know why this is not a message that government in New York needs to put out there a lot more firmly. When they say they've issued that you need to come off of the road, they need to spell it out to people, just like Alden, to his credit, during the lockdown, had to spell out to people what the stay-at-home provision meant with COVID, because they were like, oh, well, I can walk the dog, I can go running down the street, I can go out with my girlfriend, I can go smoke pot with the neighbor 5 blocks up the street. Like, they were finding all kind of excuses to be on the road. And Alden and John had to say, turn on your yard. You can't do any of those things. Remember Rejma? Well, people want to know. Can I go for a jog? No. Can I walk my 50 dogs? No. Can I go visit my girlfriend? No. Just with this provision now, with the storm. Oh, can I call my workers to come in? No. Not until the all clear is given. Now, some of you expected the grocery stores to be open on Sunday, and I don't blame the grocery stores. I don't think any grocery stores in Cayman were open, despite the fact that government said that they could be. Why are they going to open up when they have staff that need to prepare? Because remember now, they're closed today, by the way. Why? Because they need to restock shelves. There's certain administrative things that they need to get done so that when you go shopping tomorrow, you can actually shop. Container came in. All that stuff is probably packed up on pallets in a warehouse and hasn't reached the stores. So all day today, they're going to be at work, busy, restocking the stores, ensuring that you actually can go grocery shopping in the morning and buy something other than a loaf of bread. It's highly irresponsible of people to not think, I think you're right, Elray. He says that's a 2x4 that went through a palm tree. It's highly irresponsible of people to not think about what your actions could be doing to other people. Here's the thing. You're an experienced surfer, so you think, because everybody's always like, oh, I'm an expert. I've been surfing for 5 years. I'm like, yeah, okay. And you've been surfing unpredictable hurricanes for 5 years as well, right? Probably not. You will go out there and get in trouble. Remember the kite surfer who died a couple years ago? What was that again? Let me just look that up. I'm sure this person had a lot of experience kite surfing. And yes, if you're into extreme sports, let's be honest, you take a chance. Where's my little mouse? There we go. You do take a chance with your life, probably more than others. Somebody commented that people take a chance every single day. And I was like, there's a difference to taking a chance every single day versus doing surfing and going out in the water waves and that sort of thing during a storm. You take a chance every time you get behind the car of your wheel, the wheel of your car. Yes, that's a chance. But that's not the same thing as going out on the water during a hurricane. So the fact that you guys can't even in your mind assess the level of risk involved in your activities, to me, sounds very, very speculative. December the 28th, 2018, Kite Surfer dies after colliding with a building. Folks, he might have been experienced with kite surfing, but the winds in East End can pick up and can kick you around. And it was a rough day that day. And guess what? Unfortunately for him, an American tourist collided with a building, a 63-year-old man. Now, things happen. People die every day. I get it. Some people don't necessarily value life the same way, and that's fine. You don't have to, I suppose. But I don't think it's fair for you during a storm to put, when resources already maxed out, right? People are out there trying to clear the roads of debris and trying to do all that kind of stuff. For you to take a chance and put other people's lives at risk. When we were in South Sound and the road was actually blocked, there were people who were there interfering with the NRA. And I'm going to show you one of the NRA videos here in a second. Interviewing with the NRA's ability to actually do their job. The NRA guys were like, we're trying to work as quickly as we can to get the road reopened. And we have people out here, pedestrians and drivers, insisting on trying to tell us that they need to get through and they need to do that. And they were like, you can't, the road is blocked. And we're working as quickly as we possibly can to clear the roadway. Meanwhile, y'all weren't supposed to be out on the roads at all. It's a level of ungratefulness to the government agencies, the rescue officers and so on, who are out there working. Even as I was out and about with the regiment, even the regiment was respectful of the RCIPS. If we came upon a roadblock, which we did come upon a few, we turned around and found an alternative route. The regiment can't say, well, you know, Sandy and we're going to just go through this blockage regardless. No. And you know, it's always a few bad, it's just always a few people that really make it bad for everyone. And you know what? We caught some of y'all on video, and yes, we're going to put you up this morning on CMR. Listen to the authorities when they tell you that the all clear has not been given. Stay indoors. It is for your safety. It is for the safety of the workers and the first responders as well. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at the South Sound one. Hold on now. Let's pull this one up because there was a group of people all over South Sound, like I don't know why. You would swear these people must get bored really easily at home. I'm like, y'all not got nothing to do at home? Go cook or something. You want a family activity, not walking out in the storm. Here's this first one. And sometimes y'all can give all kind of comments because you don't actually know how close someone comes to a tragedy until something actually happens. And then you'd have a different story. So look at this. You're like, I'm walking for an afternoon adventure. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this in a different way because I can. One method of sharing it, I can pause, and the other one I can't. So let me put it in so I can pause it. Yeah? So here we go, folks. We got 4 or 5 men walking about on a random stroll. Only God knows where they were going. Coming back, we saw them as one. They were like, hey, Sandy. I was like, y'all get inside now. So this was an envoy with the regiment. So there was a proper, this is one of their newer vehicles. The Hilux, I think it's called, in the front there, meant to go through certain types of terrain and water and so forth. And then I was in the vehicle behind it, sort of being escorted by them. Now keep watching, because you're going to come up on a family that was out for an adventure. South Sound was closed. People should have been staying home. And instead, they're on a walkabout. Like, oh, let's go enjoy a nice afternoon stroll. Meanwhile, the all clear has not been given. Yeah. You just are being foolish when you do this sort of thing. Here comes another family. Here they are. Check out this family, 2 daughters and a dad and a mom just walking around South Sound. Sure, everybody's got on shorts except for the mom. I think she had on long pants. Walking around South Sound like nothing. Where are you going exactly? On the way back, the regiment stopped and told them to get inside. Okay, but they're not the only ones. People are out there walking dogs. Now listen, I am sympathetic towards you if you have a dog. So here's another couple of people. That's like 3 people over on this side again, walking leisurely, like they taking a nice afternoon stroll. The all clear. Is that a little girl in his hand? It looks like it. Yep. Small child that he's having to carry. And he's out there in all this wind until a projectile of coconut or something hits him and the child in the head. Then you'll hear all kind of sob stories. At the end of the day, folks, look at the condition of this road. It was not safe for people. Here comes another bunch. Oh no, are these the workers yet? Hold on, this might be. No, that was just more people casually strolling. There they are. This one's carrying the dog in his hand. Now, I must tell you, I am sympathetic towards people who have dogs, because I was saying this to the regiment folks, as a previous dog owner. I've had dogs all my life. Right now, this is the longest that I've probably been as an adult without a dog. But I know how dogs are. If your dog is used to going like a certain path every day to be walked, try changing that one day. Try making the dog go in the backyard. That dog will circle around 50 times and refuse to do its business in your yard, which normally you're grateful for, but in certain circumstances, you're just like, listen, I need you to get on with your business in the yard. And they will not do it. So I do kind of get it with a dog, but listen, if you got to hold the dog in your hand, you're not walking the dog. They didn't even have a leash in their hand. So this wasn't walking the dog in the traditional sense. This was like, oh, let's make the dog go out and see what other storm stuff is going on. It's just unbelievable how foolish people can be. CUC warned you about the potential of even live wires being down. There's lots of dangers out there. But y'all just don't listen. Here's now is the work crew from NRA that was out there with heavy equipment, trying to get people out of the way, right? Trying to clean up. So let me show you some of the NRA footage here in a second. And like I said, their efforts are being hampered because of people constantly trying to get through and interrupt them. And all they wanted to do was, as quickly as they could, clear the road so that it could reopen. Y'all have got to do better. Now let's look at some other footage that was submitted of people being incredibly reckless. Comes out and smashes. Who almost now let's repeat, because I don't think you saw that one good. That was that's actual video footage of someone being washed away. But you see, because y'all don't know that this happened, y'all think it's all fun and games. You see where she was? And now look where she is. Look. Struggling to even get up. She could have easily drowned. A riptide could have taken her out to sea, and she would have never been found again. And then the family would be all up in arms about, oh my gosh, we lost a loved one. We can't even afford to bury her now. We need help. We need this. We need that. This is the situation up by the waterfront, and there are people standing up there like you would not believe. The police were out there saying, come back. What do y'all do? Look at this foolish woman. Wait a minute. Is she not wearing shoes? She's even walking around barefoot. Wow. Now she gets a Darwin Award for you're gonna be extinct with this kind of stupidity in your life. No shoes on in this water don't know what's in the water, and enjoying these crashing waves that are coming towards her, thinking that it's so funny. This kind of behavior is not funny. Y'all like a chief thrill? Please go get on a roller coaster. You might be a little bit safer on a roller coaster. This is the kind of behavior that is just not cool. These are the people who get the Jackass of the Day accolade. And I don't care that y'all feel a way about it. It is what it is. There's more. Let me see. Play that one. Hold on. Let me get the others. Look, where were y'all going exactly? That's what I would like to know. Now, this one takes the cake because I'm always very, very surprised at people who are willing to put the lives of their children at stake, not just themselves, but apparently they don't care about their children either, which is, I mean, it's one thing for me to be stupid and take a chance. And it's a whole other situation for me to jeopardize the life of my own child or children. But apparently y'all don't care because, you know, it must be a generational curse from one generation to the next. Y'all not business. So I'll describe it for radio listeners.
OMG, Fatima, don't go too far.
Hear what this one say, but what? Okay, but don't go too far. And these are young people. Look like a young girl. I can't quite get a fix in the age of the camera. So they're able to go by the water, and they say, "Oh, don't go too far."
Oh, look at that! You said don't go too far. Look at that.
They can't even hear it. What did you say? Oh, they said don't go too far. And then look at this other bunch over there. Children running and playing in the water, and you know those children, I'm sure, cannot swim, much less if a riptide grabs them and takes them out the pool. Look at the wind and the water, and people are still allowing their children to go out in this. Y'all are crazy.
Come back here.
Here, one parent about come back here. Why are you even out there at all? Why are you out there, and especially with your children? Well, you know what? Like I said, the Darwin Award was created for a reason, because there are some people who are only alive because of sheer luck. They're not alive because, you know, they have any special. Oh, that's so brief. This one, even. Hold on one second. The Jamaican guy's like, look here. That one, but watch out. Oh, that's so brief. And we're supposed to feel a way when they drown. Watch out. I gotta play this one again. So poor Jamaican guy is like, he's so brave. He's not brave. That is just stupid. Seriously. Ay, ay, ay. Dana says first responders have the God-given right to go home to their families at night. I agree. Damien says simple. They get a ticket. They should be getting more than a ticket. Make them show up to court and have to deal with the court for. There should be an offense for being so stupid. But I'm sure it's a breach of something. Natasha says hurricane curfew should be charged for breaches similar to the pandemic. Why should first responders be placed at risk for stupidity? I agree. The same with staying at hotels or resorts. They don't think staff need to be safe also or prepared. Turn of your yard says Tana Yayad. Yes. Says Dean. It's tan like TA and Tana Yayad. I can't pretend to really have that that accent down on a tool. Y'all know I'm married to Jamaican, right? I think you know this. But he's the least sounding Jamaican that I know, in fact. A lot of Jamaicans don't even know. They'd be like, they meet him, they're like, where are you from? And they'd be guessing every other place in the world because they look at him, they're like, okay, he looks Indian. So they start with normally India. Are you from India? He's like, no. Pakistan, no. Guyanese, no. Trini, no. And they go through all, and it's like finally, sometimes they eventually get back to Jamaica, but sometimes they're like, you from Jamaica? What part of Jamaica? Like, it's like they don't believe him. They have to ask him, where exactly in Jamaica are you from? And then he tells them exactly where he's from. They're like, oh, really? And then, Jamaicans, yeah, I got a brother that went to school at that high school. And then it's like, okay. Jamila says, I can't believe supermarkets were full and Casanovas open and tables full and people getting food. When was this? When were people at Casanovas getting food? Paul says people do anything to be popular in social media and do the same thing in Bermuda during the storm. I think people just don't value their lives. Like Aliano says, they don't value their lives enough. I do think it's a miracle that human beings generally live as long as we do, because we are some of the stupidest creatures on, when it comes to like, oh, we're God's chosen because we have free choice. It seems like God didn't make us terribly intelligent in a way. So it does make me wonder if we are really supposed to be the chosen ones, because I'm thinking the other animals who work by instinct and, they seem to get it right most of the time. Dana says being a first responder doesn't mean that you have to forfeit your life and your right to go home to your family at night. Well, definitely not. But they're the same ones who, when they don't get saved, they want to be critical of the first responders. Well, they didn't get to me in time and somebody called 911. It took them an hour to get to me. Yeah, because the roads were blocked. There was debris in the roadway. They were somewhere else. It's like, come on now. During times like this, don't test fate. Renvo says, good morning, Queen. Hello, darling. The storm current is 50 times more dangerous than the regular waves. The pulling power of the storm current is like being caught in a spinning hole. I believe you. And that's why I'm not out there testing those storm currents. I'm not about that life. So y'all want to go out there surfing and pretending like you're a surfing expert and you're a kiteboarding expert. And then when you end up in that building being a kiteboarding expert and lose your life, well, your poor family is going to be celebrating you in a box and talking about what an adventurous person you were. That's good. Does that make you feel better? Your family member's dead, but they were very adventurous? I don't know, honey chill. And this kite surfer who died, unfortunately for him, poor thing, just as an aside, and again, I don't know exactly what happened to him. I'm guessing he underestimated the power of the winds and the force of the winds and what was going to happen. He was actually an aquatics coach in California. So it's not like the man didn't have some level of experience with water. An aquatics coach, right? Do we all not think that, wow, if anybody can get out on the water, know what they're doing, it would be him. A well-known aquatics coach in Stockton, California. And look at that. He loved water polo, scuba diving, all this sort of stuff, spent his life teaching others about being safe in the water. And unfortunately for him, they say, oh, it was just a tragic accident. He was very adventuresome. Well, there you go. Sad. When them old people say you can't hear, you're certainly going to feel. Charlene, I have no idea what you're talking about. People, what? MPs expected to support high-end lifestyle with these 2 times a week spa treatments. Huh? Who wants 2 times a week spa treatments? I don't know what you're talking about there. So big shout out to all of the workers who were out there working. Oh, somebody said you can't fix stupid. People were asking if gas stations were open yesterday. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Gas stations? No, sir. Mhm. Mm-mm. What a mess. So apparently these people don't believe France Manderson. They're asking what's a housing allowance, and they say I better apply for an FOI because France's word is not credible. Because he doesn't always be 100% honest. Oh my God, y'all did not just try to throw the DG under the table. I'm gonna have to disagree with you in terms of this specific thing. This is very much run-of-the-mill information. This isn't something that Franz Manderson needs to cover up in terms of what people are being paid and what they're. If you don't even know what housing allowance is, then I'm not quite sure that you understand much about civil servants and their pay. And I just had to say to them, even to me, know what a housing allowance is, because my ex-husband used to work for the prison and he got a housing allowance. And it's not what y'all think. Y'all are completely confused. Oh my God. Mm-mm. Y'all need to get with the program now. Anyway, yeah. I don't know what to say. And in fact, you know, I can't even, sometimes I can't take y'all on, because sometimes y'all not gonna, sometimes y'all are just completely off the mark. And I can't even explain to you how far off the mark you are. Anyway, let's just leave that alone. There's certain things that I don't even need to do an FOI on because I know from personal experience that that isn't the case. And what is an Here's the thing. You can't do an FOI on a specific individual's salary, for the record. There are some things that are exempt from FOI. So y'all don't even know how FOI works. And if you're really sensible, you'll also understand that with FOI, if a government agency is trying to cover up, take the porter as an example, they simply don't record it in the minutes. And you never know that it's happening. So you can FOI all you want, and no one's going to ever be able to tell you. Let me give you an example. Since y'all want to talk about money that's potentially being wasted, riddle me this. There is well-placed information that Donovan, what's his name over at the port? Donovan, Oh, I can't remember his name. Whatever his name is. Donovan, whatever. The guy who's supposed to be the accountant over there, but clearly wants a top position. He's in good with Jackie on the board. I mean, real good. So he has been acting as the HR manager. Don't ask me how the accountant gets into that position. The HR manager went off on maternity leave, and he's acting in the HR position, and he gets an acting allowance. Now, there's some confusion about this because his current position has him coming in making more than the director of the port. Y'all listen to this since y'all want to pick apart situations. He's making more than the director of the port, and this has nothing to do with Franz Manderson. Y'all need to talk to the board. He's making more than the director of the port, and then all of a sudden, he's now acting HR manager, which is a lesser position than him, and he's getting an extra $4,500 a month acting allowance. My understanding is if you act in a position that falls below you, you're not supposed to be getting an acting allowance. So can somebody look into that for me? But again, you can't FOI that because that's hidden and they don't discuss it in the boards like they're supposed to and approve it in a board meeting. They're doing it behind the scenes and you never get to find out. Speaking of the port, don't try to send them an FOI request because they never respond. But I'm going to take them to task real soon. Let me see here now. When was the last time I sent them an FOI request that all now they haven't gotten back to me about? Because I told y'all I don't fool with FOI too much now because I understand the FOI game. They hide, they cover up, and they don't give you the information. Let me see here now. When was the last FOI I sent to them? And they just ignore your FOI request as well. I definitely need to follow up with them. Don't worry, they soon come. Soon get to them. Because to my mind, I have sent them a number of FOI requests and they just ignore it. All right. So the deputy port director acting, because he's acting in so many jobs, finance, salary range 160,000 to 170,000. Benefits range 23,000 to 33,000. This is Mr. Donovan Hutchinson. So this is, they're not going to tell you exactly what he makes, but they're going to give you the range. And then supposedly now he's acting as HR manager. And so he gets even more money on top of that. What a mess. What a mess. Some real shady stuff be going on around the place, and FOI is not going to give you the information that you need in a lot of instances. Tracy says, let's talk about the mangroves. We truly saw that the areas that had mangroves did not get as much flooding. They protected the island, and it's up to us to protect them for not only the environment, but storms like this. What areas are you speaking of that didn't have flooding that had mangroves? I'm curious to know what those areas are. The other thing that let me get this other video here ready, was to see an irresponsible boat owner. Let me get this one here for you. Who decided to leave. And we posted this, somebody sent it to us before the storm. That's not it. And so we posted this up saying, why is this boat not out of the water? So the person left the boat in the water. Oh, here's another kite surfer going out before the all clear was given. Boy, they couldn't wait for a couple waves. Yeah, here it is. This tourist boat got mashed up, right? Because they decided, oh, let's just leave it in the water and see what happens. And of course, what happened? It ends up partly damaged by the Ritz. These are bits and pieces of the vessel. Look here, now debris all over the place. Yeah. And this is it. An eyesore now on the beach. Who is responsible for this? Whose boat is this? And who's responsible for leaving it in the water, not caring that a storm was coming? And then they turn around and have it now contaminate our waters. Heaven forbid, I don't know, does this thing work with oil or is just a flotation device? I don't know what this is. It looks like a hot mess that needs to be carried off to the dump, to be honest. But this is it now, shipwrecked on our beach. And I can tell you that a lot of people were not particularly happy with this situation. Completely irresponsible, right? These people need to be fined for this kind of behavior. Here's what one person says. Hi, the floating barge with picnic benches has ended up in front of the Ritz with other pieces further down south, down the beach. So stupid. Please post anonymously if you post. Yeah? Just trying to find the other message from somebody else who wrote in about this because they were like, listen, people are disgusted by this. They're like, what? Why did this person just leave this vessel out like this? Irresponsible, really. Totally irresponsible. This other comment says, this thing is now dragging its anchors across the reef, all down 7 Mile Beach. Disappointing that the Port Authority, or DOE, did not ensure that this was removed. Must be by the Old Hyatt or beyond by now, because they were watching it from they were still in the water when this observation was made. And so they could see it in the trees. Let me see if I can show you this photo. So they were like, we see it passing by. We don't know how far it's gotten. There it is. So they said this thing is now dragging its anchors across the reef, all down 7 Mile Beach. Disappointing that the port and DOE did not ensure that this was removed. Must be by the Old Hyatt or beyond by now. Even after you posted and warned everyone, it was still left in the water. Cannot understand how the DOE doesn't involve themselves in something like this. Imagine the damage the anchor is causing the reef. And I honestly don't know whose responsibility this is, but I do believe that someone should have been responsible. Even if the owners are not responsible, you deal with it and then you find and deal with the owners afterwards. Because really, government should not be having to take a boat out of water because you as a business owner have abandoned it during a storm. Okay. So now the cleanup and disposal of this, and you know what? Government should take it straight to the dump. Take it to the dump, throw it in the garbage, and then fine the business owner for being so incredibly irresponsible. How about that? You don't get to set up a business, especially one that impacts the environment. And when it's okay and, business is going good and things are great for you, you're okay with doing whatever you want. And you could care less about the environmental impact of your little boat. If there's an oil spill and these other things that impact the environment, we need to start holding these business owners accountable. Stop allowing them to get away with this. Let's take a little commercial break.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
Crichton Properties is one of Cayman's most trusted real estate companies for over 50 years. We offer a diverse selection of property listings and help our clients navigate the world of buying or selling their properties with confidence. Crichton is a name you can trust with our excellent customer service and family-friendly touch. Contact us today to list your home, land, or condo for sale by calling 949-5250 or email info@crichtonproperties.com. Crichton. Are you tired of overpaying for TV services? Can't figure out VPNs? Constantly missing your favorite TV shows? And no access to the good stuff on streaming services? The frustration is real, but it doesn't have to be. Contact Roque, Cayman's streaming pros. We'll put you back in the driver's seat in front of your TV. Call, WhatsApp, or message Roque today on 926-1213. Roque is not a TV service provider. Terms and conditions apply.
In the mornings, no one wants to miss listening to the Cold Hard Truth or reading CMR. Cayman's #1 news platform has made your morning commute fun again. Pass this time with the Cold Hard Truth on weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Talk radio that's engaging, entertaining, and enlightening. But be careful. Some mornings it's so hot, you might run into a bit of trouble.
All right, folks, welcome back. El Rey says, yes, if the position is higher paying, yes, you should get an acting allowance. If it's lower, then no. They're bleeding the government pocketbook. Well, yes, and it leads to some questions. So, I'm surprised, first of all, that he would even be acting as HR, because I don't know how an accountant gets into that post. But he has his eyes on ensuring that he can one day say, I've been HR manager. I've been the accountant. I have been, close to all board members and other things. And so therefore, I'm the only logical choice to be the port director. Mark my word. I've told you this before. It's coming. This is who certain board members have earmarked as a port director, my apologies, one day. And so he's kissing up to them like, I don't even know why. Those lips must be sore, child. Hot mess. Live says all of those are breaches of accounting ethical principles. He should know that. We learn that in the ACCA. Well, I don't know, boy. Aliana says that if he had a trailer, he'd go for that object that's considered a boat or something. I don't know. Tracy says that is from the old Royal Palms, the guys who own the jet skis operations. And there's loads of chairs, garbage cans, debris, fencing that washed up from that shop too. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I heard people left, some people who do rentals on the beach left these rental equipment and stuff like this out so that they could be blown away by the storm. Someone sent a picture of a truck that had all kind of debris in the back of the truck. Look at this one. And they're like, what sense does this make? If this is a major storm, all of these things become a projectile that's going to end up, in somebody's house or yard or whatever. What do they say? Common sense really gone out the window. El Rey says, no, find them and give it back. Taking it to the dump would cost the government money to process it. Yeah, but then you give it back for them to do it all over again. I don't know, El Rey. I feel like, certain people, if they can't be responsible business owners, especially like I said, when that impacts the environment, then maybe we need to even consider whether or not they deserve said business license. All right. Jonathan says there were some coral heads and stuff back in the day on the beach, but they have been dead for decades for now from other storms. So you got to go into deeper water to see coral on 7 Mile Beach. Well, I think the point still being, even if it isn't dragging something at the bottom with the anchor, it should have been removed from the water. What a hot mess. What are these messages? Somebody asking about trash pickup. Somebody said, did they just ask that? So folks, not yesterday. Everything was shut down yesterday. It is now Tuesday, so the garbage collection, Department of Environmental Health will begin their rounds today. But keep in mind now that they're a day behind. All right. Very good. Let me see here. Miss Lucille says, good morning, Sandy. I love France. He works himself to where he is a Canadian. Give him a break. He's a Canadian. He worked hard to it himself where he is, to get himself, I think, where he is. He should be talking about, what we should be talking about this morning is to give God thanks. We are still, I love God is good, Sandy. I'm thankful that you have this connection, this communication. I watch every day. I watch everything yesterday. Thank you very much. I do not miss much at home. Thank you so much. Stay safe and thanks God. My piece of house still standing. My piece of house is still standing. Okay. So yeah, we were here for you during the storm, by the way. So obviously we were on air yesterday, but even, the 3 nights before that, I think it was 3 nights or 2 nights, we did storm coverage every evening at 8:00. Big shout out to Kevin, who, as I said, is actually now preparing for Ian himself. Kevin was supposed to be coming home this weekend. I think he moved it to Thursday, but with Ian now, I don't know if Thursday is even going to happen again, Kev. Keep me posted. We'll check in with him as the storm starts to get a little bit closer. So someone on Facebook is sending me some of these beach photos, which I will share with you now, to show the condition of what was left at the beach. Public beach. Wow. When people are only concerned about making money, it becomes so obvious. Oh my gosh. It's just disturbing, quite honestly. I am not impressed. All right, let's have a look. Y'all need to see it for yourselves now. I'm not making this stuff up. So here's this eyesore. Nah, man, this has to go to the dump. Someone actually had this. Is this my imagination? I think I got to go down there today and really get a look at this in person. Because some of these pictures, y'all still taking fuzzy pictures with all these high-tech cameras. Did y'all see the new iPhone 14 has like a 48 megapixel lens? I'm like, what? There was a day and time when a regular camera didn't even have that. I want to buy a regular camera, but I'm thinking, does it even make sense to do so? Because if I wait for the iPhone probably 16 and upgrade them, geez, I'm peace. They're going to have like 60 megapixel cameras. Child, they're really going to be competing. The only good thing with like the other cameras is that, especially if you have to zoom in, and there are certain benefits to still having a traditional camera, right? But yes, the quality in some of these photos makes me question what kind of cameras y'all got. I think I need to go down to Public Beach and see this myself. But look at this. Look at the state of things. My goodness. Y'all making a living off of the beach and yet having it look so trashy and disgusting. You can't even put your stuff away properly. I don't know who owns this business, but y'all need to shape up. You're making the environment look shabby. Wow. I don't know that thing needs to be back in the water. Tracy, good morning. Oh, today's Andre's birthday. Oh, happy birthday. Andre Papsito Stevens. I think he's going to come on the show tomorrow with me. I'll double check. But I believe he's supposed to be coming on tomorrow. So happy birthday. Damien says maybe the owners were off island. Well, if you own a business and you're going to be off island, Damien, you still have a plan. It's called your hurricane contingency plan. And, you have your staff who are managing or allocated to do certain things for you. Y'all act like you don't know how to run a business now. Get it together. So I tell you, not everybody should be in business that's in business. Aliana says it's Facebook's upload compression. Oh, Ms. Ramilia says, thank you for your coverage, NRA and CUC for their commitment during the storm. Yes, honey child. I bet y'all not cursing CUC too loudly today. Let me say this, right? The other day we posted something. CUC was out fixing some lines and stuff. Listen, these CUC guys, I do take my hats off to them. They really do work hard. And so one guy, some Johnny come lately, obviously, he was like, oh yeah, well, CUC's rates and blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what is so funny? The one time y'all stopped cussing CUC and you came to appreciate, but memories are so short. 18 years ago, the same time, we were still going generators strong and heavy, post-Ivan. Not a single person complained about CUC. You know why? Because when you had to go to the gas station every single day and fill up your little gas tanks for your generator to work so you could have a little AC at night, and you were spending $40 and $50 a day back in 2000 and when was Ivan? What did I tell you? 18 years ago? 2005? Do the math. Is that 2004, 2005? Whatever year it was. Y'all were not complaining then. You know why? Because you recognize that in 2004, spending $50 a day, again, do the math, 50 times 30 days. Let me do it. $1,500 a month just on fuel. And you weren't even, the generator wasn't even doing the whole house. You were lucky if you had a fridge and an AC unit on it. I bet y'all wasn't cussing CUC then. Even to me, I was like, wait a minute. I'm averaging $50 a day on gas? Hurry up, CUC. Come back and save me. I was so glad when CUC turned the power back on. I'm like, listen, if I got to hustle a side job to pay CUC, I am never going to complain about that bill again. Yes. Were y'all complaining then? Go get your gas tanks. God has a way of reminding you all, okay, of how fortunate and lucky you are, in fact, to have a company that's up 98% of the time. Make another storm come and another month of running a generator, and then we will see. No, sir. Well, I'm just reminding you. That's all I'm saying. I'm just reminding y'all. Because you forget so easily. I mean, to me, it really is interesting how quickly you forget. Wee Wee says no sound. You got to refresh, honey child. El Ray says, but if you had a properly sized propane or diesel generator, it would not cost you so much. Well, even so, it mightn't be $50 a day. But I mean, I don't know. I have a properly sized generator, but I wouldn't want to live off of that for a month to try and see what the bill would be. How much does it cost to fill up that propane tank? I don't even know. I would have to check the bill. Marlon does that one. So with those pictures I just showed you, this person says that looks like a hurricane hazard and needs to be cleaned up. Most of those chairs, cabanas, fence, and foundation of the building is now in the ocean. Wow. What a hot mess. El Rey says, don't forget the CUC bent us over and made us pay for their network, which they failed to insure. Was it the fact that they had no insurance at all? I'm trying to remember. But now, El Rey, you're in the telecom business. So let's be fair. Everybody pays for the infrastructure one way or the other. The only way that you know that you're paying for CUC's infrastructure is because they actually told you, because it was added as a line item. You don't think the customers are paying for the infrastructure for Flow? Nobody's not giving you nothing for free. Everything is a cost of doing business. And when you're in business, you got to make that money back. That's business 101. You pay for it. You're not getting it for free. All right. Somebody's sending me, oh, poor Cuba. Oh, gosh. A bit of what Cuba is experiencing. What a mess. Yes, honey child. Ian has gone straight for Cuba. My goodness. All right. Good morning. Just a thought on the hurricane shutters for new homes. I believe it is now mandatory to have hurricane impact windows. So perhaps the need to have shutters on new homes is falling away. I don't think there was ever, it was never mandatory for sure, but how good are hurricane impact windows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how good they are, to be honest. What are we talking about? Cat 1 and 2. So obviously these are changes since Ivan. Ivan brought about a lot of changes in the construction industry here in the Cayman Islands and the actual building code, which was good. We've got, I dare say, probably one of the best building codes in the world. Yeah. So this person says, how about a healthy minister of health for once? We expect more from the work permit holders than politicians. Oh, Jesus. No. I don't even know if I can touch that one with a 10-foot pole. Oh my God. A healthy minister of health? Well, she's joining her 50 by 50 program. She's going to get there. How many healthy MPs do we have? Oh, Jesus, peace. Do we really need to go there? I feel bad because I'm in no position to talk. I know precisely in my head what I need to be doing, but let's be honest here. This is definitely the pot calling the kettle black and blackest and blacker. Oh my God. Do we have any healthy MPs? Let me think about it. All right, let's start with the premier. Nope, the premier is on our 50-50 program too, but he's trying to do better now. He's been eating healthier, and he's going to start walking with me and others. So nope, Premier not healthy. Deputy Premier, no. He has lost some weight, but yeah, got a ways to go. Chris, you still walking on that treadmill? Who's? Let me think now. Oh, geez, I'm peace. All right, let me start with West Bay. We have Bernie. Probably Andre is the healthiest. I think Andre might be the healthiest MP. Hold on, I'm going to go through them all. Well, Andre, I don't know in terms of his habits. Like I said, I probably know the least about Andre, but he looks healthier than most. Not carrying too much excess weight. Kathy, she's okay. Probably just a few pounds. All right, so Kathy and Andre. MP Bernie, not so much so. Remember, he had heart surgery, bypass surgery a couple years ago. So maybe then I don't know what steps he's taken to get his health under control. Mac, definitely not the healthiest. Between the drinking and the excess weight, and I know at one point he was diabetic, but then he had done the gastric surgery, but then he put the weight back on, and the yo-yoing with the weight isn't good for you. So nope, not healthy. Then we come down to town. We got Kenneth smokes, unfortunately for him, which is one of the worst habits in the world. And I don't know if Kenneth really exercises per se. He seems to have a lot of stress in his life, and he loves to drink Pepsi. And drinking 1 can of Pepsi a day increases your chances of becoming a diabetic, type 2 diabetes, by 50%. So healthy, slimmer. Yes, he's one of the slimmer ones, but I still wouldn't say healthy. Who else is in town? We got Roy McTaggart. I think for his age, Roy isn't that bad. I would give him probably a B, maybe, for given his age and everything. He seems like he's all right. Barbara, actually, I think is pretty healthy. I think Barbara, I remember her when I was in the progressive, she was always running around the place, going to yoga and exercising and blah, blah, blah. So Barbara is probably okay. I don't know much about David. I think he plays cricket, but I don't know anything about his habits. Let me think now. Alden is actually relatively healthy. We know that he likes to cycle, because remember when he fell off his bike and broke a rib? So he likes to cycle and do other activities that keeps his heart pumping. I don't think he smokes. I'm pretty sure he doesn't smoke, but I know he drinks. And yes, alcohol is not really good for you, to be honest. But I think he probably get a B plus. Yes, so that's a healthy-ish MP. Who else do we have in town? We got that's the ones for town, right? There's 4 in town. Sabrina, she's joining a program. She knows she's got to work on it. Who else is there? Jay, not healthy. Got to work on it. He should be joining the 50 by 50 plan too. Isaac, I think Isaac might be he might be more on the healthy-ish side. He's probably in the B range as well. He's not carrying a ton of excess weight. I don't believe Isaac smokes, and I don't know anything about his drinking habits. And of course, stress is really important. Listen, stress and getting adequate sleep are really, really important to your health as well. We underestimate the importance of sleep. Child, I've been doing so much research on sleep that I need to be going to bed at 8 o'clock at night instead of 1 o'clock every morning. Oh my God. No, sir. I'm the worst. Overweight, love food too much. Love the occasional Pepsi, although I must tell you, I have tried my best to not drink them as often. It's like once a week. Ooh, I had some good chili yesterday. Oh, I think I'm going to grab some chili for leftovers after the show. But yeah, I've got 50 pounds to lose. So shall we all? Oh, Julie. Somebody said, what about Julie? Oh, Roy had a heart attack? Oh, geez, in peace. I didn't know Roy had a heart attack already? Oh, well, I take that back then. Maybe he's not quite... maybe he's not quite as healthy as I thought. So someone says weight does not necessarily determine the level of health. Some plummy people more healthy than some skinny people. And they said Kenneth is a smoker, so no. David is pretty good. He's pretty healthy. Like I said, I don't know much about him, but Let me tell you something about weight. Now, listen, all fat people, and don't call yourself plummy, just call yourself obese and fat, because that's what you are. You are, oh, Joey. Oops, I forgot about Joey. Oh my God. Actually, I think Joey from the Georgetown crew, probably him and Alden and Barbara are the healthier ones. Yes. I think Joey's kind of healthy. I don't think he smokes. I'm sure he drinks, but I don't think he's into smoking, and he looks pretty slimmer. But listen, the person has a point up to a point. All right, hear me out now. Fat people always want to say, oh, skinny people think that they're healthier. Well, depends, okay? You carry on what's called visceral fat around your organs. You can be skinny on the outside, but your organs are still impacted by this visceral fat. Now, most of us who carry on the visceral fat, you can look at us and tell because we get a big midsection. But there are times that it's not always that obvious. And there are quote unquote skinny people whose diets are atrocious. They're just skinny people because they got good genes. They eat whatever they want. They eat burgers and fries every day and they never put on a single pound. So obviously those individuals are definitely not healthy. But do not kid yourself when you're carrying extra weight to be looking at all the skinny people going, oh, I'm fat, but I'm still healthier than them. Chances are you're not. Obesity is the number one thing that is destroying all of our lives. Honey child, that's why I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. Y'all don't think I know? Right? You got to get up. Sitting down all day, the sedentary lifestyle is killing us. That's why I try to stand during the show. I don't tend to sit down. Get up and move and walk more. Park at the opposite end of the parking lot and walk. Instead of parking by the front door, y'all be trying to park in a handicap spot and you're not even handicapped yet. If you are obese, just admit it. You've got a high BMI, admit it, and do something about it. So I'm not going to be looking down on the skinny people. Now, here's a good point. Someone says, are you including mental health? Child, no. I can't include that. I'd be here all day. Oh my God, I cannot take that on. No, sir. But yes, Joey is a little bit, yes, I would say Joey's. Okay, so let's come east now. We got to Prospect, Red Bay, Bawden Town. I mentioned Chris already. John, probably in the C range. He's got some extra weight, probably good 25 pounds. He could probably do with shedding. And I don't think he smokes, but I'm sure that he does drink. Then we have Isaac. I think we mentioned Isaac already. Jay definitely could shed a good 50, 75 pounds or more. And then that's it, right? Did I get them all? Oh, the Sister Islands, my apologies. Yes. So Julie, Auntie Julie, you definitely, are considered obese. Shouldn't be any earth-shattering news to you. So yes, you're in the same category as the rest of us. Let's do this 50 by 50 plan. CMR Fitness, we're getting there. Boy, Kevin has been doing really, really good. You can even see it in Kevin's face and stuff. Kevin's looking good. Men always have an easier time, I feel like, with the weight and stuff as well. They don't have as many hormones and other things to deal with. But apparently sleep is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. We need to start getting to bed earlier. All right. Speaking of that, we have some more fitness journals that we need to be giving away. So let's do that on Thursday's program. Let me see. Somebody says, is Kenneth looking to take Cayman away from the UK being independent? His alignments are with such kind of what? That's a whole different other conversation. Like what? What are we talking about? We can't even deal with that today. Obese is the least of Judith Santa's issues. Y'all are so ridiculous. No, y'all are just redunculous. Don't even go there today. We'll get there, but not today. So yes, we know what we got to do, honey child. Y'all get with it now. Someone says, do you know that I had people appealing for plywood via community chats and their homes have accordion shutters? And some people collected plywood that also has shutters in every window. Please just mention this in your conversations this morning to bring awareness of how unscrupulous people can be. Thank you for all that you do. So this is coming from an MP. Why would you need plywood if you have shutters? What were they doing with the plywood is what I want to know. That's crazy. Jesus, can you help it make sense? Because this doesn't even make any sense. What would you be doing with plywood? You're certainly not going to put plywood over shutters. That's stupid. Maybe they're building something, but first of all, plywoods are the ugliest things to put on your house, but we use them because we don't have a choice. But if you had shutters, why would you want plywood? Please be reminded that a marine warning remains in effect. Dangerous sea conditions continue, even as Hurricane Ian is tracking north and away from the Cayman Islands. Residents are urged to avoid all in-water activity at this time. Y'all heard me? This is coming from Hazard Management. All in-water activities includes surfing, kite surfing, jet skiing, swimming, trying to walk on water, all the foolishness that y'all are out there trying to do. This person says, pretty obvious that they're going to sell the plywood. Oh my God. They're going to price gouge at a time like this? Oh, wow. Someone says most people don't and can't understand the risk. Now, this is about rescuing people. Because they would never be the ones who would have to go out to rescue them if anything happens. Just a reminder that the stop lights by Cricket Pitch, that's Holda Avenue and Bobby Thompson Way, are not working. And no police are out there directing traffic. I saw that they weren't working yesterday, but surely I thought the police would be stationed there all day long. Ooh, honey child. Well, y'all know where there will be accidents today. Please avoid the area for your own safety of your vehicles. No, Bobo. What a hot mess. Someone says that happened. Generators and Ivan price gouging. Seem, you know what, with lateral flow kits too, remember? Yeah, it's so sad. They're working on the lights, but it won't be long before there's an accident out there. No, sir. RCIPS. Let me send this to their communications person. Child, messages don't go through to her anymore. I sent her a message on Sunday and it still hasn't been delivered yet. Did she change phones? Ugh, can't keep up. I don't know. What a hot mess. Anyway, thank you so much. El Rey says some obese people are healthy despite how they look. They're referred to as healthy obese, but do your yearly health checks to confirm. Yes, and I mean normally, El Rey, obese people probably, when we say that, that's probably like 5%, maybe 10% of obese people. If you're obese for a reason because you have very unhealthy, eating habits. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't run people around the block. Because trust me, there's some people that you could outwalk even though you're obese. You're good. Listen, let me tell y'all another story. Y'all know I love a good story, and I hope you love a good story too. Oh, Damien says that Jerry likes his farm to table food also. That's good. High fructose corn syrup. Oh yes, the worst thing. And so much stuff from ketchup to everything. That's why I'm not a ketchup person. I'm like, don't give me no ketchup if you can help it. But listen, Marshall says Julie's already over 50, so she would need to lose about 75 to 70 pounds. Yeah. Okay. Listen, right? Some years ago, Marlon and I went to, I think it was Honduras. We went to Panama and Honduras, very close together. And in my brain, the trips were a little bit, they were so similar in some ways, right? But this was Honduras. And I'll tell you how I remember, because, Honduras is not the safest place in the world. So when we were down by the river, well, we didn't go down by the river. When we were walking, we were staying at the Pico Lodge, Pico Bonito Lodge. Really nice, beautiful property. They had like a, we did a bunch of nature tours and stuff. It was really, really, really nice. And so our guide, every time she'd be talking to us, and, after like the second day, my Spanish was like really picking up. She's like, if you did a Spanish immersion course, you'd be very fluent, like in no time. Like literally 6 months or less, you'd be really fluent, because a lot of stuff starts coming back to me and I remember words and my pronunciation is decent. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So they have armed guards down by the river with like AK, they're part of the military, right? Because I guess, I don't know, they're there to control the locals. I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. So, so one day I planned this hike. Me being adventurous and thinking obviously that I was in better shape. And this was like years ago. This is like 8-9 years ago now. Here I am thinking I'm in better shape than I actually was even at the time. Woo. Being disillusioned about yourself is a hell of a thing. So here we go. So I had some new shoes. This is before I was aware of my foot issues. And so I'm not supposed to wear flat shoes. Like that's one of the things I now know. But this was one of the one, like it's like a minimalist shoe. So it has like a bottom, but it's like, fits the, like, it's not a whole lot of shoe to it really, but it kind of snugs it's like walking barefoot. And remember, these were all the rave. I don't know if you remember these, but they actually have the position where all the toes go in and stuff like that. So they're supposed to be mimicking your feet, kind of like almost like you're walking barefoot. And a lot of runners and stuff like that wear them because they're like, okay, the best thing for you to do is walk with no shoes, right? So anywho, I planned this. It sounded good on paper. this nature walk, and they take you down by the river. Well, honey child, they never told me this was some of the worst terrain ever through the bush in Honduras. So here we go, trekking it. And, other people, it was one of those long holiday weekends. So they had like a package with the hotel and whatever. And there were other Caymanians there, La Saiba. And one guy, I don't know, I think he was like an accountant or something, but he was all ripped and fit and ready to go. And he's one of these people that be out, skiing in the bushes and whatever. And I was like, oh God, this is going to be so interesting, because poor me. I'm like, I'm up for a little bit of an adventure, but not that adventurous. All the agoutis, oh my God, the property was so beautiful. The agoutis were just running around wild on the property. Like they'd almost walk up to you. And they were big and plump, and they were explaining to us that on that property, they're protected because they eat them in Honduras, just like we do. And they're like, on that property, they're protected, so nobody can touch the agoutis. And they were like, in the morning, they would just come walking around. You'd see them just walking in the yard, like right by your little hut. I was like, oh, they're the cutest little things. Anyway, so we start this journey, this hike down to the river. Honey child, let me tell you what happened. Marlon's more fit than me. We get to a certain point. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, no. How much longer? Oh, we're halfway there. I was like, what? After trekking for an hour, we were only halfway there. And I said, you know what? I'm only going to hold the group back. So I think I better go back to the hotel and arrange a massage because, I'm not doing this. 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get there. And then I got to get back. And I mean, no steps, like I'm going through terrain. And here the guy, he's like, well, the journey back is easier. I was like, really? I'm like, I'm not believing that. So anyway, he sent somebody to come and get me because they don't want you walking through this bush by yourself because you're in Honduras, you might get kidnapped. So anyway, he's like, yeah, you see those guards down there with the AK-47s? They're protecting this property from like gangs and this. I was like, oh, Jesus. Take me back to Cayman where I feel safe. So the point of the story, though, is this guide was chubby and fat. But child, because he did that trek every single day as part of his job, it was like nothing to him. He walked that terrain going, it was an incline up the mountain top, and then you have to go down to get down to the river. He walked like nobody's business. That man didn't break a sweat. He was like, I do this every day. I'm good. And here I am huffing and puffing and like, oh, Jesus, let me just pause for a moment. He's like, you okay, miss? I'm like, yes, papi. Un momento. Ooh, let me catch my breath. And I'm looking at him going, he's bigger than me. And this man is walking this, but you see, the body gets used to certain things, especially when it comes to exercise. And so, yes, he could walk like nothing. Right? So I was like, he's what you call a healthy obese. Yes, I get it, Del Rey. But child, I was like, no, I can't take this terrain. Tracy says to do the DMS corporate challenge. It's coming up. Have them participate in that and that tell you who the fittest is. Oh, Lord. So there's different levels of fitness, obviously. But just we're all about trying to make healthier choices. All right, beautiful people. That's all we got for you today. You all have an absolutely wonderful and marvelous day. Make some better choices with the diet because everything is about choices, right? I'm still trying to make it through the water, child. The water challenge is to drink the recommended amount of water that they say you're supposed to drink every day. It is really a challenge for me. So we all know the things that we struggle with. Getting enough sleep is a challenge. Not getting stressed out is a challenge for some of you all as well. We need to start doing yoga and meditation and all these other things. And mental health, as someone mentioned earlier, we can include mental health because mental health is a very important part of your overall wellness, right? You could be the fittest person in the world physically and you can still drop down with a heart attack if you're not controlling your stress levels and mentally you're not, kumbaya and praying and meditating and doing all these things. So it is a 360 approach. And, we're going to try to improve as much as we can. I mean, that's the goal, right? Nobody's perfect, but we do our best. All right. Tomorrow is Wednesday, Caribbean Connection Wednesday. I think Andre is going to be coming on with us tomorrow and we'll see who else we can get on. And we'll talk about some of the stuff that's happened in the Caribbean. Some very interesting things that happened. There's a young lady who drunk herself to death, I believe, speaking of unhealthy choices. Only 21 years old. And she decided to take on this challenge where she was going to take like 21 shots because she's 21. I tell you, human beings are not the smartest. Anyway, that didn't work out well for her and she's dead. Hot mess. All right, good people. Today is Tuesday. Some of you are getting back to work. A lot of the kids are out of school. Please, there shouldn't be that much traffic on the roadway, but still be careful. There might still be some debris and stuff out there. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. God's willing, we'll all be right here. Until then, be safe.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.